Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
Welcome to the College Breakdown Show. I am Ray Crews. This is the kickoff show, the premiere show to college football. We're starting it off here. We got a slate of games here on Saturday. Starting off with the Florida State Seminoles versus the Georgia Tech in Dublin, Ireland. So we'll be talking about that once Dre gets on here. So Dre's in Charlotte, North Carolina. I believe that's where he said he was going to do the show from today. So we're just waiting on him to get all his stuff set up and getting on to the show here today. So we got a bright show coming up here for you. We got a lot of stuff coming up on the show. We're going to be breaking down a lot of football games here today. We got week 0 starts on Saturday, ends on Thursday. Week 1 starts on a Friday, and we'll be back here for week 1 on Saturday next week. And that will be a buku slate of football games that we will be breaking down here on the All Sports, All Plays Network on the College Premier Breakdown Show of college football. Like I said, I am your host, Ray Crews. So we're going to get started here momentarily. We're just going to get Dre here. We're going to go hit some few words. When we get back, we'll start it all off here and to introduce Dre when we get right back.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. We on top of our game. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
Welcome back to the College Breakdown Show on the All Sports All Plays Network. I am Ray Crews. We're going to go ahead and introduce my co-host. He is the myth, the legend, the Who's to Blame podcast, the host, the man with the most, my man with his Florida Gator decked out, Dre Montez. How you doing, Dre?
What's going on, boss? How we doing? It's our day,
we doing
man.
Good, man.
It's our day, man. This is, they say week 0. Damn that.
Yeah, this is week 0, man. We're in week 0.
They need to stop saying that.
Why?
I don't believe in week 0. That 0 equals what in the military? What? In the military.
Nothing.
Military, thank you. So what they trying to say? We are what?
We had 0 hours. We had midnight.
There it is.
You know how military time goes. You go 0. You go 0. You know that's what military time does for you.
People. There it is. How you good? How you doing, good sir?
I'm good. You're in Missouri, or you in North Carolina?
I'm in Dublin, Ireland.
You're in Dublin, Ireland. You gonna attend the game day at Florida State?
I'm with these people. Like my Irish connection. Shout out to the McCarthy Menden family, by the way. But this is the way Pat McCarthy. Did you watch Pat McCarthy show at all? You like him or no comment?
But Pat McAfee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch the show. I tape it and I'll go back and watch some of it.
How he
I haven't gone back and saw that one yet.
He opened up with the you got an Irish in you. I know you do. So he opened up the show yesterday with in Dublin, Ireland, doing what most Irish people do, beyond Guinness. But they had the Irish music going, and they had the women and the men dancing. And I don't know if you know about the Irish jig. Man, they got it in yesterday. Shout out to them. Like, a great job. I'm shocked this dude made it to the set today.
All right.
He is there.
You shocked that he actually made it to the
Because he did his show yesterday. And
Yeah,
now he's on game day. I'm
right.
shocked and amazed that he made it.
Well,
And
he started off the week at WWE
yeah,
Monday Night Raw. He's on the Monday Night Raw telecast.
shout out
He
to
won't be
his
on there
wife,
for a
man.
few weeks now because of college football started up. So he
Shout out to
won't.
his wife.
He'll be making some appearances, but not much. But we're getting ready to break some of these games down, guys. Here, this is where we live for. This is the day we come back here. We started off on the 3rd of August. We missed the 10th. We missed the 17th. We picked back up on the we picked it back up on the 27th.
At the phone.
Today is the
too. I got the phone.
24th.
Not the
Today
phone. Hey,
starts
Coach
week
out
0.
playing.
Even though my boy don't believe in week 0, we have to call it week 0. Even though ESPN don't call it week 0, they call it week 1. But week 1 goes all the way up to next Saturday if you do it that way. So we broke it down. College football calls it week 0. Week 0 goes from Saturday until Thursday. So we'll be covering all the games, and we're plus covering week 1 on Friday games. We'll be covering some of them games too. So we got a lot of games to break down, man. We got Buku's to break down. We got to bring my big old chart up here in a minute here.
Uh-oh.
I'm bringing that our sheet, man.
Can I say something about you?
Yeah.
Ray is really good at analyzing all the games and breaking down everything. Ray is the host. I'm the co-host. So he's really good at the analytics of breaking down the matchups throughout college football. So I want to applaud you on that. This is our 3rd year or 4th year together.
This is our going off season 4.
This is our 3rd year or 4th year together.
4th year.
4th year. There we go.
Yeah, this is our 4th year, man. I don't think you want to pick them yet. Hey, I gotta get my digs in.
About football. How better can it get?
I had to get my digs into the Gator Nation. Guy right here with all his Gator stuff on.
Okay, let's go.
Even though the Gators don't play until when? Next weekend?
Go ahead. Do it.
They got a long. Yeah, it looks like they don't play again. They don't play until Saturday, I think. Next Saturday.
Yeah,
we're gonna start off with your rivalry team in Florida, Florida State here and Georgia Tech. We're gonna kick it all off here with that. Then you see down at the bottom our college breakdown football rankings, even though we don't believe in the pre-rankings, but there you go. That's the pre-rankings starting all off here on this great show here. This is what I was talking about right here. Number 10, Florida State plays Georgia Tech at 12 p.m. on ESPN. Location is at Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland.
I'm watching.
Where the Leprechauns are coming out to play. So which does Georgia Tech get the luck of the hour since they are the home team? Does the fan get behind Georgia Tech, or does the fan get behind Florida State in this battle?
I'm thinking that Florida State needs to let last year go. Look, your quarterback got hurt. You didn't make the playoff tree. We understand that. Don't make it redemption Saturday, week 0. Take it one game at a time. I know you're mad. But how many players are still there from last year? And you understand what happened. See, this is the thing about college football to me. Not high school, not NFL, but college football. Stop getting in your feelings. Stop trying to understand the matchup from the history and the nature of the game and just make it applicable for the situation. That's all I want college football players to do, including my own squad, Florida. But this Georgia Tech, Florida State matchup, I think Florida State is trying to put too much emphasis. That's it, right? Emphasis on last season. And I think that's wrong, bro. We know what happened last year. I don't think the NCAA committee got anything wrong. Look at what happened. It's like when the BCS came out. Everybody bitched about it and complained about it. Did the BCS ever get anything wrong? No. Has the playoff tree got anything wrong? No. I know Florida State fans are still mad about last year, but let's think about it. Think about it real talk. You didn't have your quarterback in that game you lost. Just think about it. It's not who you lose to. It's what, kids? It's when you lose, Daddy. And that's what happened. Get over, they call the hump, and move forward. You cannot apply 24 to me moving into 25. I don't want to coach like that. No. I don't want to talk about last year as perpetual motion, as motivation, movement. No, I want a coach to tell me nothing about last year. You played football. You've coached football. Have you talked about the last game of the last season to your kids, or your coach talked about that to you to motivate you? Man, get the hell up out of here. Not doing that. Florida State, get over it. The NCAA committee did nothing wrong to you. It worked out fine. How you think they would have done if they got in that playoff system last year? Please enlighten me my lifestyle. What would have happened? The L word. And I'm not talking about the HBO Max show. The L word would have happened, meaning they would have lost.
Yeah, I get you on that. I mean, it's fair to say because they lost a quarterback, but still, they went undefeated.
Hey, listen, we can go back like when Florida lost to Mississippi State, and we still won the national championship. Look when we lost that game. What month was it? October. I'm just, and now the restructure of the whole college football system. No. Florida State, get over it. Get over it.
Now we got a playoff system now. Mm-hmm. So now nobody can really bitch and complain like they normally do.
They still gonna bitch, Ray.
Well,
there's still gonna be 10 to 12 teams like that.
I get you. When we talked about earlier in the week, earlier in the month, we talked about the Big Ten. We talked about the coach at Nebraska. He wants 4. He thinks 4 of the Big Ten teams should be in the playoffs automatically. That's what his thinking is.
Nebraska need to get back on that black shirt. Matter of fact, stop wearing those black shirts, because Top Osborne is, and Tommy Frazier and all those guys, and the Winstrom brothers, and the safety Mike that went to the Panthers. They're not feeling this love that Nebraska is doing in football. I don't know if it's recruiting. I don't know if it's the verbiage. But I miss Nebraska being Nebraska football. It's not the same thick white guys moving real fast on the offensive line and defensive line, and that obvious Mike Minter. All of that, it's not there no more. I don't know what happened with the culture, who left off. I don't know if it's recruiting has a lot to do with the situation why teams are not doing well. You got to have somebody to believe not just in the system, but to live there.
Yeah, I get you on that. But a lot of people don't
in the
want
military.
To go.
What's the strangest place you've been to that you had to adjust to? Don't say Japan.
Huh?
Don't say Japan.
No, Guam. Guam is strange.
Half the athletes wouldn't be here if it wasn't for military base in Guam.
Guam has been the weirdest place because
Bay, as they call it.
Yeah, if you go to Guam, half the city is like, half the island is like a tourist attraction. The other half is a very strange mixture of all kinds of cultures there. It's just a real strange place because in certain areas that military couldn't go to, they cut off.
Just like in Hawaii,
yeah.
We couldn't go to certain places, and if we did,
yeah,
the military tells you,
like Hotel Street.
Yep. So you think how many athletes you think are grateful due to their parents being in the military right now, professional across the board? The percentage you think? I think it's over 70%. If their parents are not in the military, there's no way in the hell.
Well, there are some college players that came out of the military, went right into college. So
yep.
So you got it, but you got it that way and that too. But let's continue on with the Florida State. Let's get back on a little bit of the topic here. DJ Ugalea will be the first time he's been out of the country to play football. That was the interesting tidbit I got when I was started doing some of the research here on this game today. How do you figure what DJ Ugalele is going to be when he was at Clemson, then he went to Oregon State, now he's back in the ACC? Is this like a
His third
redemption for
school.
him in the ACC?
I think he's trying to pull up Bo Nix when Bo Nix kind of did what he did. Most starts in college football history as a quarterback, 61. I think everybody right now, when it comes to the quarterback position in college football, transfer portal, NIL deals, I think it's a little bit more and deeper complex in what these guys are trying to do. I don't think they're trying to go to the show. I think they're trying to get the most out of college football as they can financially. And not a lot of people like college football that are in these positions that are getting this NIL deal money. Look at this situation. Look at where he's at. And please tell me, can he see over his offensive line throwing the ball? He got a Drew Brees situation. What is the upsell? Yeah, the game is minus 11. Everybody's thinking that Georgia Tech, we know you're going to school to do math. You're not going to school to play football. I get the whole situation. But at the same time, if I'm transferring that many times as a quarterback, am I trying to get to the show or am I trying to get the most money? That's my conflicting thing with this matchup. I like the matchup. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, as a college football fan, and you used to play ball. I never played football the way you did. You used to coach. What are the extenuating circumstances that you see in this matchup? Please enlighten me. Go.
Well, it's going to be the contrast of Georgia Tech still building out of that out of the option back into a regular base offense, throwing a little bit more passing into it. This is their second year trying to do that. So that's going to be an interesting fact how they recruited to the base of their offense now, going away from all the running backs, few wide receivers they had. I guess most of Georgia Tech had was 2 wide receivers 2 years ago. So now they got to get these receivers. So it's going to be interesting how that climax still goes from the option to the read option type deal, play a little bit more spread out, passing the ball a little bit more, and getting the quarterback into there. But now, to me, DJ Ugalele came out, went to Oregon, got a little bit of straightened out, came about a little bit better of a quarterback.
Reality hit him.
Yeah. Now he's playing for his third team at Florida State, which Florida State really did need a quarterback because, they lost their starting quarterback last year. He's a senior, so he didn't come back. So, that's going to be an interesting concept, how he fits into this offense and how he relates to the Florida State receiving core and how, because you got to have that relationship. The wide receivers and quarterbacks got to have the relationship. You got to know when to break, not to break. So today, to me, first college football game, a little bit of pressure for Florida State coming in this game. Georgia Tech could jump out early on the lead. But, a lot of mistakes for both teams here. This could be made for a sloppy game today.
Question that I have for you. Do you have a sibling that played sports? Then, of course, did your dad play sports or your mom?
No, my dad was a farmer. My dad ended up got drafted in the Army in World War II. Okay. So my mom, she really didn't play anything.
So you're the first sports athlete in your family?
No, my sister was.
There it is, right there. Did you compare the comparison between you and your sister? How was that? What's the age gap as well?
The age gap is only 18 months.
So that's what I'm thinking DJ is going through. I think he's trying to compare himself to his brother. That whole transfer thing and all that, trying to get out of the system, prove my own. I think that to me, the way I look at college football, the way I love college football, I think siblings competition is at a high point in college football to me. What do you think?
Yeah, that's another thing too. If you look at it too, and that's a great point, talking about his siblings, trying to compare himself to his siblings and stuff like that. A lot of people do that. Even Michael Jordan, I know we're going to basketball
His
a little
brother.
bit. Even Michael Jordan did it because his older brother.
Yep.
His older brother always beat him. So he wanted to get that level to where he's better than his brother. And he keeps saying that he's not better than his brother. If his
I
brother
wanted to play the game to the level that my father respected me. And when I did, that's when I retired. Right there.
and
But
if
in
you
college
believe
football, I think it's crazy.
and if you believe Jordan had a lot of pressure on him because his dad didn't want him to play basketball, his dad wanted him to play baseball.
Yep.
Because his dad was a big baseball fan. So I mean
Right
that's
here.
a lot of things too. You got to compete with your father. You know, your level of competitiveness, you want to be better than the person in front of you. And I'll give you a scenario. I was in Boy Scouts. Well, my sister's son, he
You
wanted to
Eagle
be
Scout?
better than me. He wanted to be better than me in Boy Scouts. He wanted to outrank me because he made it all with the Eagle Scout. I missed it by 3 months to
Dude,
get an
I
Eagle
had no
Scout.
idea about the Eagle Scouts. What in the
Yeah.
living actual fuck of life? Oh my God.
Yeah, my nephew, he's an Eagle Scout. He wanted
What?
to be better than me. I was life in Boy Scout. He said he wanted to outbeat me. I turned 18 when I got ready for my Eagle Scout board. I couldn't do it because I was 18. I turned 18 years old. So
You
they
go to a
disqualified
board
me for my
committee?
age. Huh?
You went to a board committee for the Boy Scouts.
You got to have to get an Eagle Scout, you gotta go in front of a board. You got to do a major project in your city, which he did an excellent job because he rebuilt the pier at a state park
Okay.
in my hometown. He rebuilt the whole pier. Him and some other, you got volunteers to help him out. But he committed that as one of the requirements, you had to do a major project in your city to get qualified to get onto the board.
You got to
He
do
did
something
that.
to impress the
Yeah,
people. Wow.
he did that and got into a board, and then he had to sit in front of a board for them to ask questions to become an Eagle Scout.
Dude, you were meant to go in the military with that
So-
background. Can
so
I
he-
say something real quick?
Mhm.
Can I say something real quick? For the
Yeah.
people tuning in for the first time, this is our 4th season doing this. Ray and I met in a very unconventional way, but at the same time, we have a unique bond. We're both military veterans. We're both Navy guys. Ray lives in Jacksonville, Florida. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. But our love and affection for college football brought this together. So every Saturday we do the show, ASAP Sports, all plays, college football breakdown with Ray Crews and Dre Montez every Saturday in the Central Time Zone, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. But on the East Coast, you already know that.
Yep.
And we have a fan in California, and I was like, I don't know what time that is. So it's 5 a.m. He's up watching.
No, that in California
It's 6
time is 6 a.m.
I was all off then. Been a long
Yeah,
time
6
spent out
a.m.
there. But wow, it's our 4th season, bro.
Yeah. But
And Ray brings the facts, people.
this is an interesting thing too. The tidbits in this thing is these two schools are only 4-hour drive apart. They went 4,000 miles to Dublin to play this game. They're only 4-hour drive apart. They went over 4,000 miles to play this game today.
So, you ever been to Ireland? You got a little
Yeah, I've been
Irish
to
in you,
Ireland.
right?
I've been to Ireland. I actually had to go. I flew out of South Carolina to New York, got on another plane on my way to Afghanistan. We had to stop in Ireland
No
airport
way.
to transfer over. That's where we got to drink. We got to drink when I was drinking alcohol back then. We got to drink all the way up till we got to Ireland.
The
We
real
spent 2
Guinness.
hours.
You had the real Guinness.
Yeah, we spent 2 hours in Ireland airport, got a little drink on, and then
Jealous.
when we took off, all the alcohol we had to throw all the alcohol away because we were heading to
I'm jealous.
Afghanistan. So,
I'm jealous. The privileges that the military had, I wish people only knew. The stuff we cannot tell them, and I would never tell them. But the stuff I like telling the civilians in the civility world, it's hilarious to me that the perks and privileges that we had based on your job, location, and who you work for. There you go. My man Ray Crews breaking down the college football facts here on the college football breakdown. Here we go, my man. What you got?
All right,
next?
here we go. We're gonna continue breaking this down a little bit here. The Yellow Jackets feel the same way about King, who transferred out of Texas A&M. King accounted for 3,729 yards of total offense, 37 touchdowns in the first season under Coach Brent Key at Tech. So he transferred a year ago. Last year, he played for Georgia Tech. He did pass for 3,729 yards. He is a mobile quarterback, too. King led the conference with 27 touchdowns, but he had 16 interceptions for Georgia Tech. Well, we know how Florida State's defense is a stingy defense. They still got some key players back there, got some good corners. How many times they got to be turnover free to beat this Florida State team today, I believe. But King gets exception last year of 16 interceptions. What do you think how King has to minimize the turnovers against Florida State's dingy defense?
Let's not forget that Megatron went to Georgia Tech. Let's not forget that Joey Hamilton went to Georgia Tech. But somehow Georgia Tech left football. Let's not forget their technology school. They went there first before they fulfilled the obligations. And now the past 2 years, they've been figuring out these football people. Let's not forget that Bobby Ross, okay, was the coach there, okay, that set the tone for the NFL. Follow along. Maybe somebody else is saying, maybe this 11 points can be better than what we think it is. I think the first 2 weeks of college football, well, I'm going to start over. Pop Warner, high school, college in the NFL. The first 2 weeks, the first 2 games, you're setting the tone and the evaluation for the school. So I don't want Georgia Tech to overexert themselves on the believability in the program facing Florida State. Because right now, Florida State is trying to do this as what they call as revengeful. They trying to do this shit as revenge shit. How many people still on that team? 8, 10? Let it go. The committee got it right to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You did not deserve to be there. They had lost that game. They had nobody to throw the ball. He couldn't run. He didn't understand the offense, even though the cadence. Who can practice that? And you've played the game. Don't put me in a position to fail coach. Okay? And that's where they were at. But I really think that Georgia Tech slowly is trying to climb back into the conversation of, we got a football team. I'm not saying they're going to beat Florida State, but I think have you looked at the recruiting class that they have, the players that they have? Look at the tight end. Look at that tall ass. They got a 6'7" receiver with bad hands. They got to figure that out. They have a backup quarterback that's better than the starter. They have coordinators on the side that have a relationship with the players. This is like a Clemson and Alabama situation that Georgia Tech is trying to do with the relationship with the players and the coaches. It may be minimal to most people, but that sheet right now, that speaks volumes to me, man. If I got a coach on a team that knows me from Pop Warner or knows me from middle school or coach me in baseball, that resonates with me. And there are a lot of programs that are moving to that situation of getting players and coaches together that have that connection. Again, I don't think Georgia Tech is going to beat Florida State, but I'm thinking that they can make this a competitive nature. But if they get in their feelings and that coaching staff believes in them, that minus 11 can go down.
Yeah, I take away an interesting tidbit here. Our whole game, this is from Coach Keys of Georgia Tech. Our whole game, my goal as a head coach is prepare the right way. We practice the right way. We go over there and we play the right game the right way, Key says. But he also said if we play physical, we finish when the scoreboard hits 0-0, then we'll look up at some point and see what happens. But we're going over there to get into a fight.
Already.
That's what he is saying. So
words well spoken. I just said that. I mean, the message must be, if I'm playing the 4 teams that are playing today, if I'm the coach, let's make the message real, simple, clear, and short. You played sports. I played sports. Look at the shit our coaches told us. Nobody talks to athletes that way anymore. You're not allowed to. You could offend somebody. But if I'm a coach today, real simple, real short, an obtainable goal. Let's not focus on a bowl game. Let's take it right now. That's the problem I think a lot of coaches and players have. They're looking forward, man. And keep your eye on the prize, as they told us in the 80s and 90s in high school and even in military. Keep your eye on the prize. If you can control that, you're good. Anything outside of that, those are extenuating circumstances that we cannot have any control over at all, in the words of Nick Saban.
Yeah, and you got to look at Florida State too. They don't really have to rely on DJ Ugalea so much. He can let him grow into the role as the season goes on, because they got a senior running back in Lawrence Torfea and Alabama transfer Rodell Williams.
Say his name again.
Running behind an offensive line that boosts about 345 college starts. That's the offensive line combined, about 345 college starts. So if you look at that little ram here, but DJ, but you got to look at the other side too, the wide receiver side. The Seminoles will turn to Alabama transfer Malik Benson, fellow senior Ja'Kai Douglas, and freshman Jalen Brown to replace stars Kean Cohen and Johnny Wilson.
So in your words, as a former football player and a coach, tell me about this Florida State offensive line. Do you believe in this offensive line?
Well, the offensive line is a standard point of them, because they got a lot of seniors. They got a lot of players to come back. They got over 345 college starts. That's a continuity they need. To me, you got to look at the offensive line. You got to have continuity in college football. You got to have people that play together. They know their tendencies. They know what they're going to call, how they block. That's the play. It's just like the quarterback and the wide receivers.
Right speed.
They got to know. They got to be on the same page. So it's the first start of DJ Ugalea. It's the first time he's played with these players at wide receiver. So you could see a lot of rust on him and a lot of missed throws, because it's the first college football. It's going to happen. You're going to see some ugly plays. You're going to see some good plays. You're going to see a lot of holding. But that's another thing, too, with this offensive line. They played a lot of games together. So you shouldn't see too many penalties on this offensive line. You might get a couple of holding calls, a couple of false starts, because, you're still in a new place. You don't know what the crowd's reaction is. You're in a neutral site. Basically, you don't know how much your fans travel. You don't know how many of your fans travel over there. You don't know what their fans are going to be cheering for. So it's a lot of things. It's a lot of variables playing overseas, and a lot of nuance you got to get used to and travel.
I know you've played in hostile territory. You've coached in hostile territories. As you as a player, what did you tell yourself? As you as a coach, what did you tell your players? Playing in a hostile environment.
The one we played at was Northern Durham and Durham, North Carolina. We got escorted in by police because it was a rough neighborhood.
In high school?
In high school.
Wow.
That's not the only place. So if we end up winning that game, we knew coming out of that game that we had to have the bus pulled close to our locker rooms, because their fans would throw rocks and everything at us because they hate to lose. That's basically what Northern Durham is.
But when you were a coach,
high school,
when you coach kids, what did you say with the verbiage going into a hostile environment like this Florida State Georgia Tech game? They're playing in Dublin, Ireland. So that's a different location. But so if you're taking your kids and you're the coach and you're going to a neutral site or going into a situation where, everybody's booing you, what did you tell your kids to keep them focused on the game?
I always told my kids, and I always told them straight out, we're going into an environment of playing hostile football. We got to tune out the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I did a unique perspective because when I had my people go out and scout the team,
Mhm.
I didn't have them go out and scout the team. I had them go out and take videos of the crowd, what the crowd did, the home side
Spygate,
crowd.
right? That's called Spygate.
No, spy
I'm
games
just
you
playing.
changing
Go
on the
ahead.
team.
Right.
Spy games you doing on the other team, but no,
Right.
we got special permission from the high school that we were going to go thing. We told them we're going to bring cameras in, but we're not focusing on the football field. We're focusing on the fans.
Like
So
you
they
really
allow
did
us.
that? Like for real?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So,
That's some
so
deep coaching, bro.
we focused on what the tendency of the fans were because the football game we're gonna get handed videotapes anyway because in North Carolina the coaches we had to swap tapes with each other, so that's how
Right.
we got to see the game film. But for us to go scout, we had to get special permission to bring cameras in and tell them we're going to focus just on the fans itself, and so we know what kind of hostile crowd we're going into, what the reaction was if the team lost, what the reaction if the team won of the fans, so we compare ourselves. And basically, what we did was we took the crowd sounds, mic'd it up on the football field, blasted just like some of the college football team to simulate the atmosphere of that crowd. And so my team was more focused because we knew what the crowd was, we knew the crowd's thinking.
Okay.
So we
That
took
makes sense.
out we took out the fact that we took out the crowd. And the first thing I told him, I said, when you run the football and you get 10 yards off the thing and we start moving the ball down the field and we score first, that takes that crowd out real quick. Because when my team got ahead, we never released the lead.
I don't want to get off too much. I want to get back to college football, but you want to coach again? Would you do that again? Or are you still doing that? I don't know. Are you still coaching or you want to do it again?
Nah, I'm transformed over to I'm 52. I'm 52 years old. I transferred over. I always wanted to be a sports broadcaster, so I transferred over to this side of the career. It's just something that I wanted to do when I was like 6 years old. And my sister actually, not to get off this topic real quick, my sister did find my old notebook where I carried around, had all the stats of all the players, and where actually when I'll tell you straight out. When I was 10 years old, my grandmother caught me outside playing basketball. I was all five men on the team, on both teams. I was the announcers. I was the PA guy, and
Wow.
I played the whole 2 hour game. Just me and my grandma thought it was like 5 people, 10 people out there playing.
The similarities that we have is crazy because I knew I wanted to talk about sports, but when I was young, I didn't know how to do it. And when I finally got in radio, I was on cloud nine. It was to do what you want to do is something else, bro.
Yeah.
And the way we met and the fact that we're both Navy veterans is crazy. Let's get this college football on, bro.
All right. So now we talked about a little bit about Florida State. We've gone over a little bit of here. Now we got a little bit of information. We know Florida State wants to run the football, pass the football. We know Georgia Tech wants to try to balance football, be a physical, dominant defensive team.
Right.
So with that contemplate with DJ Ugalele playing his first time out of the country, playing back in the ACC, does Florida State really have an advantage over Georgia Tech right now? If you look at what we see on the field right now,
I think TOP is going to be a real big thing, time possession. If I'm Georgia Tech, we know coaches that lie and say, well, I don't listen to the news or read the internet. Bullshit, your players do. Your coaching staff does. So I'm not preaching an upset, but that minus 11 is looking really, really friendly to me right now. But at the same time,
it's minus 10.5 now.
It's 10.5.
Yep.
I miss having a bookie. But at the same time, Florida State is still pissed off about last year. You got to let that go. You cannot make up a whole season in one game. It's like in my theory in baseball or softball when I played. I'm down by 9 and you're leading off the game, leading off that inning, and we're down by 9. You can't get 9 runs back. Do what you can do. That's how Georgia Tech should go into this game. Now, I'm not saying bow down and get your ass whooped, but that defense and their special teams and that receiver that I like that they got out of Florida, that 6'7" motherfucker that I think he has a bad left hand or something. You better take that up, bro. I'm sorry. If they can do that and simplify the game plan and regroup at halftime, whether they're up or down, to me, that right there is big. That's big to me, but I don't want Georgia Tech to listen to us. You're Georgia Tech. You have not been relevant since the 90s. Let that go. We know Megatron went there. We know that. But it's 2024 going into 25. And right now, this is a hell of a matchup for them in week 0. If they're within 4 or win the game by 3, this is momentum build. You ever lost the game as a coach and gave that as momentum build? You ever lost the game as a player and you felt that as momentum build? You needed that loss.
Well, the one loss we really did that affected, turned my team around was the 1-point loss against our arch rival high school that we didn't have a shot, that we were favored to lose by 45 points. And we lost by 1 point. Yeah. But from that game on, we were 1-1 after that game. We ended up the season 10-1, went to the playoffs and lost the championship game by 3. So you could build a momentum, take a momentum loss that you were literally not able to game, and you played that game all the way. We were leading all the way up until the dude kicked a 50-yard field goal and win. So.
You had a high school kicker that hit a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah, he had a kicker that kicked a 50-yard field goal.
Jesus.
He was a soccer player.
Evidently, yeah. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I played baseball, so it was different. Like for real.
Yeah. But all right, man. Our favorite time. Who are you going with in this ball game today?
In which
game?
Who
are you picking?
In this Georgia Tech, Florida State
game? Yep. Who are you picking? You know how this goes.
Man.
Now, I'll
Florida
give you one
State's
thing.
going to win, but I think Georgia Tech is going to cover the point spread.
So you take it. You taking
10.5 right now.
So you taking Florida State?
I'm taking Florida State, but because I like that tall motherfucker. He's not a Megatron, but he has the height. He has the height of a person that could do well, but I think his left hand is fucked up. So I don't know. They got a special glove he could probably wear, but that's the thing. Yeah. And then the height of Florida State's quarterback, like he's short as fuck. He's like Drew Brees. His right tackle is 6'7". If he got to throw the ball to the right and that right tackle stands up, who he throwing the ball to?
Yeah, we have I don't know, man. That's gonna be the break.
5'8", 5'9". You can't see over nobody 6'7".
Yeah,
it's impossible. He got to do some Drew Brees shit. He got to find that air pocket in his helmet and throw the ball to that spot. So you got to take a page out of his book. So that, to me, if there's a pass thrown over 25 yards, blown coverage, and he could see the person. Other than that, if the right tackle stands up, and he's left-handed, right? Isn't the quarterback from Florida State left-handed?
I think so. No, I don't know if he throws left or right. I'll find that out for you.
This motherfucking ambidextrous, we're in trouble. But this right tackle for Florida State is huge, humongous. Again, I just want to see Georgia Tech show up. I got Florida State winning the game to answer the question. Give me Florida State.
I got Florida State winning the game. We got a professional wrestler, Rob Wiles, is commenting on there. He said, "Hi, fellas. How you doing, Rob?"
What's up? What's up, Rob? What's going on, boss? Thanks for tuning in. I got some folks here on the book face looking in.
So
There it is.
all right, my friend. Let's turn to our next game on the agenda here. Is Montana State versus New Mexico State at 4:00 p.m. on FS1. Location is University Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we're going from Dublin, Ireland, all the way to New Mexico at 4:00. That's
What's
the
the
next
two
game
matchups again?
on this week 0.
What's that 4:00 game?
This 4:00 game is Montana State Bobcats versus the New Mexico Lobos at University Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Mhm. I want to go there so bad.
They got the New Mexico Lobos favored to win at 68.1 to 31.9%. This game here. Montana from last year coming in with two straight losses coming into the starting up the season from last year to this year. Then we know the momentum could swing one way to another. New Mexico is coming off a 1-1 the last two games of their season last year. Now coming into this game here on a 1-game losing streak. So the Lobos and Montana State. How do you figure this game is going to turn out in a 91-degree weather today outside? So,
oh my God, that's once I get over 85, I have a different respect for sports, and I do believe New Mexico State got a lot of transfers from Herm Edwards that he recommended for them to go there. So they got some ballers there. They got some ballers. The heat factor. And I like their running game and special teams. I'm going with New Mexico State on this. I'm going with this. Yeah. I mean, the football aspect of me and the recruiting, transfer portal, coaching recommendations. Hey, look, if Herm Edwards tell you to take a kid, what do? You take the kid. They could really fit into the offensive scheme or defensive scheme you're trying to do. This kid gets it. He knows the verbiage. So I like that alliteration right there on that factor. So give me New Mexico State.
You take New Mexico State?
Yeah.
This is a toss-up because these both teams are not really made to win.
No, they're not.
Then they have been struggling and trying to get recruits to come there because these are smaller schools, non-Power 5. But I like you said, New Mexico's special teams are pretty good, but their defense is lacking a pass rush. So I mean that's something else. Let's see here. Rob says, "Shoot me a DM when you have some time." Right, looking at doing another one.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
I love when people say, "Shoot me a DM." Right?
Yeah. So I will, Rob, when
Dre
they
Montez
get a chance. Do that, and so we'll talk about that on this coming up. But anyway, let's turn back to this here. It's an interesting thing that Montana opens up the historic season in 2024 as a double-digit underdog.
Wow.
Because right now, the sporting bet, we got to give the sporting odds because my man here, he's a big sporting guy. He likes the odds. So right now, Montana is negative 13.5.
Well deserved.
So you going with New Mexico in this game? That's what you said?
I have to because the transfer portal and the players that they have ready to play and understanding the offensive and defensive scheme of this program. Like I'm not saying I watched every game of them. I've just been watching through clippage and finding out and getting ready for the show. I'm like, hold on, what? They have who? So I'm going with New Mexico State in this one.
New Mexico State?
I have to.
Yeah. I'm going with you on that same spot because New Mexico State is New Mexico. It's not New Mexico. It's New Mexico Lobos.
New Mexico.
So I think they're more built because they what the coaching staff has done the last few years better than the Montana State team really is. So I'm agreeing with you on that, just because the experience level wise that New
Right.
Mexico has over Montana State
Right.
in this ball game here. But it's going to be a lot of running. It's going to be a lot of mistakes. And this game right here, if you watch this game, you might see a lot of penalties on both teams. This could be another sloppier game,
I want to
even though
see
it's week 0,
Mascara
first
running
game of the
today.
season. A lot of things could happen in this first game. We could end up losing this game. You never know.
You telling me?
So that one. So I mean, that's just that is just the vicinity that we live in right now here. So we're bringing up the rankings and down the stroll area there. We're going to continue right along here. We're going to move right along a little bit here. Some of the smaller schools will give you a little bit of quick synopsis on, and then we'll break it down to the bigger schools a little bit more there. So not this one. I think I deleted the other one, but all right. The next game we're going to on the tap here today. That it's going to figure that it's the new time that the ACC kid SMU at 8 p.m. on CBS Sports Network from Mackey Stadium in Reno, Nevada, to play in the Nevada Wolfpack. I'm sorry, the other Wolfpack, not the NC State Wolfpack, but the Nevada Wolfpack. Temperature is going to be 84 degrees in this ball game. SMU is joining the ACC for the first time this season.
Right.
Right now, this is a lopsided pick by the matchup predictors that I have seen on ESPN. It's 86.4% to 13 points for SMU, 13.6 for Nevada here. Nevada Wolfpack. Where do you see this? And your betting odds here, SMU is negative 27.5 in this ball game. That's the odd.
Am I being correct or not? Did Nevada lose their starting quarterback? He got hurt 2 weeks ago, right?
Yep.
The guy that had the high projectile was being the next Brock Purdy or even Josh Allen. So I want to know what's the backup plan now for Nevada, because the expectations of what they were going to do offensively is gone. So now they got to come up with a whole new game plan for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks in college football, which is way too long. So,
well,
I'm
they really
nervous
don't have
about
to they really don't have to reinvent the wheel for Nevada, because Brendan Lewis was named the starter this week, putting him behind the center for the second year in a row. Last season, he was one. However, Colorado's transfer would just as soon forget because he battled injuries. Lewis showed promise in passing for 1,313 yards and rushing for 495 yards.
So
he's going to be running for his life, because if you look at SMU defense recorded 47 sacks last season.
Jesus. How many hits on a quarterback? I mean, for one, you got a quarterback coming in with a little animosity because he lost the job coming into spring training, spring camp and all that. But the starter got hurt, and now he gets the helm again. So I don't want to speak too much into it on a quarterback on that situation, but at the same time, the expectations for Nevada is not there as it was with the other quarterback. To me, if they win this game, good for them. I like the fact that SMU is back in a conversation with college football fans. It's not in a conversation with the scandal anymore. You know, they were the first school to be stripped of every damn thing. But now, due to the realignment and all these different conferences, I think SMU has an advantage point right here. If they can be in the conversation for at least 3 quarters, they can be relevant. Not saying they're going to win the game. If they do, awesome. But if they're relevant, what I mean by relevant in the conversation, if they lose by less than 4 points, I'm impressed. So that means you are one possession away from winning, a one mistake away from winning. That's how you minimize the game. When you break it down to its purest form and figure out how you lost the game, you can pinpoint. You can do a whole damn coaching conference on how we lost that game, defensively, offensively, spoke special team. Coach, get in here. But if they get to that point, that's it. At week 0, I don't want to emphasize too much on winning. I want to emphasize on you doing the play.
Yeah. Well, Nevada's coming in with a new coach, Jeff Cody, who was Texas co-defensive coordinator last year, has a task of turning around the program that is generally has been competitive in the Mountain West. But if you look at this too, Nevada's gave up in 2023 41 sacks on the offensive side, but Elijah Roberts for SMU is returning with 10 sacks. He's the leading sacker for SMU. How does Nevada's defense try to double team Elijah Robertson so he won't be disruptive for their passing the game?
He's a running back or receiver.
Who, Elijah Roberts?
Yeah,
he's a defensive end for
how you stop him? That running back got to stay there. That running back got to stay in the backfield. I need you here. I need more than a chip block from you. That half a second, and for the quarterback to really release the ball is a big difference than a quarterback chip shopping the ball. I mean, but if I could release the ball and you help me out blocking, I need you to stay back here. Now, whatever my lineman can't do, I need you back here. Extend the play for me so I can make it happen for us. You know what I'm saying? And if we get to that point, we're up by 14 and we're up by 10, now I can implement you in the game plan. But that's not overthinking because that defense is fast. I think the left end and that right side linebacker, I think those two are the fastest two on that damn team, other than the corner that came out of California that's coming back from injury. But up front, and I gotta put it on the quarterback too, man. If I can see people breaking in my house, what you gonna do?
Yeah,
you got to read the defense as well. Coach can only give you so much. At some point, you got to show up on the defense of the offensive line when you call in the plays. But I need that running back to stay back there to help me out so I can extend the play. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah,
not just this game, but all college football.
Yeah, I look at it this way here too. SMU is it can be a double trouble team because they got a good quarterback who they're averaging about 38.7 points per game last year, but he's passed for 3,197 yards and 28 touchdowns, but only thrown 6 interceptions. But SMU relies mostly on their running, so opposing defense can't really focus on Stone. So that gives them a little bit of advantage because they're a double trouble team. If SMU can keep it balanced, Nevada's gonna have a hard time trying to stop this thing. So Nevada's defense has got to pick up the poise and start making disruptive. Can't let SMU get their offensive going, and it has to make them at least a one-dimensional team to have a chance today.
Which is real hard in a matchup like this to me. I mean, because coaches are looking at last year's film, but you got new coaches, you got new implementations of plays and all this and whatever it may be, NIL, transfer portal. I don't think teams are doing the same thing as they did the year before. I think a lot of teams are going to try to come out of the box this year, especially on the first possession, either defensively or offensively. I think they're going to get outside of the box, especially when it's games that they don't think they're being watched, to me.
But then if you look at it too, the new head coach from Nevada, so you really don't know what kind of offense style he's got. He's a defensive-minded coach, but you don't know what kind of offense style he's got. You don't know what kind of plays they're running. So you really don't have any tape from last year's season on this Nevada team, what it's going to look like this season. So that could give a lot of things.
Every 4 plays, I need that dude. Give me that video footage. And I want everybody looking at it.
Yeah. So if you look at it too, SMU says they had 55 points last season 4 times, but they led the nation in first quarter points with 12.3.
Oh my God.
Last season.
Take a break.
Huh?
Take a break.
All right.
Oh my God. That
So
went down
we'll
real
get
quick.
back. When we come back, we'll talk about, we'll pick this game here. So we'll go to a break real quick on the All Sports All Plays Network. We'll be right back here on the All Sports All Plays Network.
Be right back.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Plays Network on the College Breakdown Show. I am Ray Cruz. My host will be right back in a moment here. I'm going to talk a little bit about some kind of facts and figures in this ball game that we really want to look at for the SMU and Nevada. They played in 2009, which SMU beat them 45-10 in the Hawaiian Bowl. But if you look at some of the thing tendencies here, Coach is in his second. The former Texas defensive coordinator, Coach is in his second head coaching stint. And in the last actual season, he led Montana State to 11-4 record in 2019, and with a semifinal of the FCS playoffs. But the 2020 season, he was shelved in a pandemic, and Coach left for Texas the following year. So we don't really know what kind of offensive scheme that he's actually going to run in this football game, because he's a defensive mind. So if you want to look at what Texas did on the defensive side, you got to pull some of the Texas games, but that doesn't give you really some kind of tendency, because there's different level players. You had a team that was in the Big 12, has more Power 5 conference teams in there playing against Oklahoma State, and Kansas State, and Kansas. So they had better competition. So do you see what kind of defense he does? But you're playing now in the ACC, and you're playing in the Mountain West. You really don't have that standard competition there that you really can see, but you don't have the type of players that Texas team has. So his offense ran very well, but we don't know what's going to run at Nevada, how their composure and how their texture on that side of the football. So if you look at this here, you got a lot of questions with Brandon Lewis on the offensive side for Nevada. You don't have that many questions on the offensive side for SMU, because they've returned most of their players, but they're valuable of the quarterback. But they also like to run the football. They like to put the game in motion and be a balanced team. So when you disrupt a balanced team, you got to take something away. What do you want to take away from SMU? Do you want to take the high power away from Stone and make him run the ball, make the running game beat you? Or do you want to establish yourself and be a dominant team and disrupt the running game and make him pass the football down the field? That's a question you got to really do to a balanced team. You got to take something away from this team. If this team gets everything going that they need to be going, this could be a really long day for Nevada here. SMU will put you in pressure situations that you can't really control in the situations here. So we know what kind of shaky start Brandon Lewis had last year. So we're really going to thank him, and we're going to bring Dre back in here too. So when we get him back in here, we're going to finish this up, and we'll pick the team, and then we'll move on. So let's bring Dre back in here. Hey, Dre. Dre's on the phone now, man. Who you on the phone with, man?
I'm talking to the SEC commissioner about all this realignment here that's going on. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Gotcha. He's going to send us tickets, right?
Okay.
We got to go to any SEC game that they're going to send us to.
So, what I was talking about while you're away was the balance of SMU and how they got to be disrupted here. Nevada's got to figure out a way to stop one of the two options they have, the running game or the passing game. But in your opinion, like my opinion, you stop the running game, you make them pass, because you have a high volatility of you picking plays off then with the running game. How do you look at it? Do you look at it stopping the running game, or you're stopping the passing game and making them one-dimensional on the ground?
I like the fact if I can force and I know I got a strong secondary and a good defense, and if my 4 7 or 8, whatever they have running, can stop the run, I want you to throw the ball. I'm baiting you, as they say in sports. I'm going to bait you into something. I want you to do something that I know you're going to do. And that's a fun fact in football to me. When you know you're good at something and you can make a team do something, that's good coaching. That's good work week. That's watching development. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's going to try to do something different. That's when it comes on the sideline and looking at the game film. What did we do in that possession? What did we miss? What reads did I miss? Defensively, what did I miss? How did that guy get the ball? Things like that. In-game adjustments are real key to me when you have the information that we have right now that's available to us on the sideline as opposed to 25 years ago. Yeah, that's a great question and great point. We should be in Dublin.
There we go. We had a little bit of a freeze there. I don't know what went on there.
Did you hear me? Do I need to say it again?
No, I got you.
Okay.
All right, there we go. We got a strong signal. I don't know what happened there. Either my internet or your internet or something happened. But I heard what you were saying. I don't know if the fans heard. I heard it. Who you got in this ball game? You take SMU in the point spread?
What's that point spread? It's 13.5?
27.5.
Ooh. No, I got to take that over under. I think that over under is what, 65?
Yeah.
I got to take the over under in this. No. A game like that, no, I don't want the point spread. Give me them points.
So you taking SMU?
Yeah. Are you going to gamble this year?
I don't know yet. I haven't talked to my wife about it yet.
You had to talk to your wife about gambling? I admire you in so many ways, too.
Yeah. Here she comes. She's right here. She heard me too. So. He asked me, I'm gonna gamble this morning games.
Hi, Ray's wife. How you doing? Oh my God. Thank you for letting me hang out with your husband every Saturday for 3 hours.
Hey, she's standing right there doing laundry and she heard me.
I'm talking to my wife yet.
So
what do you need to talk to me about?
we're talking about gambling. He asked me if I was gonna do
Can Ray gamble?
Football gamble.
Miss Ray, can Ray gamble this year with me? Can we place like 4 bets this year?
As long as he wins money.
There we go.
Mommy likes money.
Mommy likes
Got
money.
the approval. If we win 2 out of the 4 bets, I'm coming to Jacksonville. I'm coming to Jacksonville.
Yeah, she's a Knowles fan, so she's getting ready for that noon game.
I'm not going to be watching. I'm going to watch it on.
How does this happen? She's a Knowles fan. You're a North Carolina fan. How?
Well, ready? Short story short is I'm from North Carolina. She's actually from Lakeland, Florida. So
Lakeland, Florida. Good softball community.
Yeah. So she's actually from Lakeland, Florida. I'm from North Carolina. So I was born and raised as a Tar Heel fan. She was a Seminole fan, so that's how we get it going.
You about to turn into a Seminole fan, or you got Carolina fan?
And then our oldest son, turned into a Gator fan.
Yes.
Well, her mom's a Gator fan, so he turned my son into a Gator fan. So.
The year he was born, Tebow was there too. I was a very big Tebow.
There it is. I live in St. Louis, but I can't stand Mizzou.
I love Tebow. Just because I love Tebow don't mean I love the team.
So
that's awesome. Thank you, Miss Ray.
You're welcome.
So yeah. So there you go. That's that thing. Well, let's move right along here to our next game. Is Delaware going into Hawaii? Our favorite place in all of the
808 in the building, baby.
808 area code.
808.
Shaka brother. You know, we got the Shaka way, you got the Shaka thing.
That is,
baby. I was stationed there
That's why I'm wearing the lay.
I was stationed there from 1994 to 1997. Been to a lot of Rainbow games there at
Me too.
Honolulu Stadium, but now they're playing at this. Let me bring it up here real quick.
Did they build a new stadium?
Well, they tore down the old Hawaii Aloha Stadium, the Hawaii Bowl Stadium. They turned that down. They're building a new stadium. They tore it down. They're building a new stadium on that site. They built this stadium called the Clarence T.C. Ching Athletic Complex in Honolulu, Hawaii, on the campus of University of Hawaii. So they built that 2 years ago.
Damn this! I'm going to Hawaii next summer. I got to go check it out.
I don't know if the team is going to move out of this stadium they're playing in back into the Aloha Bowl when they get it rebuilt, but that's my understanding. I talked to some of my friends that still live out there, and that's what their understanding is. They tore the Aloha Bowl down because it was getting old. They're going to put a new building, supposed to build a new stadium on that site. So I don't know how that's going to work.
We missed each other like this. When you were coming into Hawaii, I was leaving.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. So, my man, we talking about the Rainbow Warriors. We're talking about all kinds of wholesale changes, coaching changes, everything down from the bottom up here. But if you look at this thing here, Rainbow Warriors had a successful the last 5 games for the Rainbow Warriors. They went 3-2. The last 5 games for Delaware State, they lost all 5 games. So of last season.
Delaware State has been doing a lot of things outside of football, but go ahead.
Right. So if we look at this right here, you got one style. We don't know if the Rainbow Warriors is going to still be the up-tempo team they were, passing the ball all over the place, not running the ball very effectively. Delaware State defense cannot stop the pass or the run. They couldn't stop anybody last year. We don't know what kind of changes they made over the summer. So, but right now the Rainbow Warriors are favored by 40.5 in this ball game.
So have you heard the story about Delaware State getting there? They missed the bus connection for the flight. So I think they got to Hawaii this morning, or probably Thursday, like really late. And you know how that jet lag is. You know how that is. And you know how Hawaii is in sports. I don't think they're going to – I think this game going to be a blowout. I think Hawaii may put up 84 points.
Right now, if you look at it right now, we're 6 hours behind Hawaii time right now.
There it is.
6 hours. Delaware is coming from the East Coast.
Right.
All the way to Hawaii. Going from my home state. Yeah, from my home state, from North Carolina, from Raleigh, it took me 2.5 hours to get – an hour and a half from Raleigh-Durham to Chicago, and then almost 12 to 14 hours from Chicago to Hawaii.
Back in the day, it was a straight 8-hour flight. Back in the day. But now I think to get to Hawaii is probably 12, 14 hours where most people coming from. Because they got the layovers now. They don't do a nonstop flight no more. It used to be a nonstop flight to Hawaii back in the day.
But now it's when I flew out there, because I came from Alaska, went home for leave for 30 days.
Jesus.
And then from back home, back out to Hawaii. So I went from extreme cold
to Navy veterans. Two Navy vets doing a college football show.
Yeah, I was stationed in Adak, Alaska. My first command coming out of A school. I ended up in Adak, Alaska, on an island that was all cold all year round. 13 to 14 inches of snow. During the summer, I had a white birthday in June 13th. In the spring, I had a white birthday. So
wow, you don't forget.
I can say I literally had a white birthday.
Don't forget nothing. We remember everything.
Then I went from there. I took 30 days of leave back, came back to home in Raleigh, in Henderson, North Carolina, to be with my family for a while, for 30 days. Then left Henderson, went back out to Hawaii. So, and I was stationed out there for about 3 years.
He's really from a small town. Henderson, North Carolina. When I was a truck driver out of Charlotte, Dixie Trucking, shout out to him. I delivered to Henderson a couple of times. That's a really small town, bro.
Yeah.
Like for
now
real,
it's got 2 high schools. We had, where it was one high school, everybody was feeding out of the 2 middle schools that we had. into one high school. So the two middle school had good football teams. Then we combined the players in high school. And then my senior year, going in my senior year, they split the high school to try to minimize it. And now they went back to one high school because the town got.
Does it make you want to move back there and run for mayor?
Not really. It's good play. I mean, I lived there for 18 years. It's good to go back to see my sister still lives there.
Okay.
So I'll go back to see my sister, but I'm comfortable where I'm at right now.
Me too, man. I moved back home to St. Louis when I got out. Well, I came to Carolina first.
Yeah.
And I got divorced twice there, so I had to leave.
I'm comfortable here because I like the atmosphere, but also like where my retirement pay is not getting double taxed with the state tax, so I only get federal tax out of it. So
I just told somebody about that, about where you live at. If you're a vet, the taxes them taxes are crazy. Like Illinois, they tripping, and I'm 15 minutes from Illinois. I would love to live there, but them taxes, they're not. But when I went to Carolina on my vacation a couple weeks ago, I could go back there.
I could too, but right now I'm comfortable where I'm at. I don't want to get double taxes.
That Florida something different.
So
you in Jacksonville too?
Yep.
All right.
So
Ray's wife, I'm moving in the basement.
We don't have a basement in Hawaii and in Florida. Right. We don't have no basement.
You got a flat level 5-bedroom. Give me the third room on the right.
Actually, no, I live in a 1,400 square foot townhouse where my office is supposed to be the third bedroom, and I'm in the loft. So,
you impressed me more and more times, bro.
So I'm doing a show in the loft, so I had to get a mixer to where take out some of the background noises because I don't have no walls. So
I live in a neighborhood, and I'm glad nobody's cutting grass today because they cut grass over here like so early in the morning, but it's Saturday, and I cussed out everybody a couple weeks ago. So
yeah, it's going to be 88 degrees. The over and under in this game is 55.5. So
I don't know about
if you
that.
If you look at this game here, this game is going to be a contrast of a game because you had Delaware getting there late, coming from the East Coast, travel time, lag time, getting used to the time zone because now you're 6 hours behind where you started from, and you get there late. Any travel getting late in Hawaii is going to cause you hating discontent to the team. So
I'm taking Hawaii, bro.
I'm going to take the Rainbow Warriors too on this one.
There it is. Are we still called the Rainbow Warriors? Or did they change?
Yeah, they call
it Warriors.
Yeah, they call it Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. But they
went
only
back to that.
Yes.
Okay. Because I know they took the Rainbow.
They took they took Rainbow out and went with Warriors, and then they put it back in. So
there it is. Shout out to June Jones for bringing that program back, by the way.
So that's what they did with that one there.
It is right
there. On that. So
everybody gets laid in Hawaii.
We're moving into the Thursday night's games on week 0.
No. We didn't do all the 4 games today, did we?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. Rainbow Warrior was the last one.
Okay.
Rainbow Warrior was the last one. We did Florida State, Montana State, and New Mexico. We did SMU, Nevada. We did Delaware and Hawaii.
Okay.
That was the last game. Now we're moving into the first game on the slate of week 0, and this is the Thursday night's games that we're moving into. We got a lot of them, a lot of Thursday night games this year.
I'm not leaving my house.
So this one here is Howard versus Rutgers at 6 p.m. on the Big Ten channel. Locations in Shai Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey, where football was founded.
I thought football was founded in Ohio.
No. Rutgers played the first football game.
Wow. I love the way you bring the facts, bro. Love the way you bring the facts. I like the way that college football, beyond the realignment of conferences, but the first 2 weeks, week 0 to 1 and 2, so it's really technically 3 weeks. I liked how they give an exposure to these programs that never would be in a television package program. I like that.
Matter of fact, Rutgers University is a neighborhood. Princeton played the first game in inter-college football on November 6, 1869,
What
on
the?
a plot of ground.
I don't. Oh, that's the NFL I'm thinking about that was founded. I never knew what college football was founded. I thought it was Johnson C. Smith in Charlotte,
Nope.
but they played the first night game. Okay, gotcha.
No, it was Princeton. It was Rutgers 6, Princeton 4 in the college field, New Brunswick, New Jersey. Rutgers University was a neighborhood. Princeton played its first game of intercollegiate college football on November 6, 1869, on a plot of ground where the present-day Rutgers Gymnasium now stands in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Rutgers won the first game 6-4.
I went to New Brunswick, North Carolina, but I had no idea that was the first game. Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's informative, bro. Great point, Ray.
So if you look at that, that's the actual first inter-college football game was played against Princeton.
Wow.
Brunswick,
1869. She was 18 and we did a 69. Gotcha.
Yep. November 6th.
Wow. Late in the year.
So it's Rutgers favored by 99.0% to 1% chance for the Howard Bisons. They're coming out of Washington, D.C. So
you're not going to believe me on this one here, but I'm going with Howard on this one, bro.
You going with Howard?
Yeah, I got a funny feeling.
You take this would be the first pick that would be different.
Yeah. I'm taking
You
Howard.
taking Howard? I'm taking
Did you put up our
Rutgers.
record last year yet? Did you put that up?
You want the record from last year from them?
Yeah.
All righty. Rutgers in 2023.
They didn't play anybody last year, but the football program, they got some transfer portal people that left Clemson, Utah State, Bama, and Georgia. They got some ballers on that team. But to me, when you get ballers in the transfer portal, how can you implement them in the program? So I feel Dabo Swinney when he's talking about not going into the transfer portal, because here's what these kids are saying. Coach, I want to play now. In the words of Lou Holtz, hold on, son.
Rutgers was 7-6. That's including the Miami when they beat Miami in the Bad Boy Motor Pinstripe Bowl, 31-24. So they finished 7-6 last season for Rutgers.
Right.
And then the Bisons last year was, let's see if I can pull their schedule up, their wins. They were 6-6. That's including the Cricket Celebration Bowl loss against Florida A&M.
I'm not saying they're a great football team, but I think the players that they have and the momentum can make this a very interesting game. So I'm on this one.
I can't believe you're taking Howard over
I have
Rutgers.
to, because look at they picked up some key acquisitions to me that can move this program forward. Let's think outside of the box for a second. Before the transfer portal was there and you had to wait that year of eligibility, look at Clemson when they won that championship.
If you look at it, Greg Schiano, the head coach, is back. This is his third season back now at Rutgers. If you look at his first stint, the third season in Rutgers, his first stint turned Rutgers around. So I think this is the year that he has gotten his program back to where he needs to be. That he had in his first stint. This is the year that is going to represent his total of wins and coming in. I think Rutgers is going to be a little bit better than what we're all thinking right now. I think Rutgers is going to be a little bit better than what the record of last year was 7-6. I got them going 8-5 this year. So
no shit, you got Rutgers winning 8 games this year.
Yep.
I'm not saying Howard's going to beat the shit out of them, but I just think I got a funny feeling about this matchup. It's like that Appalachian State Michigan game. I had a funny feeling the day that the Richter scale shifted in college football.
Well,
I have it in this one right here.
I'll give you some pointers here. For Dre, the first 3 weeks of our pick'em, Dre was ahead of me. But when Dre starts tailing off in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th, 8th, and 9th week. So yeah, he might take a lead here, but I always eventually will catch him in that 4th and 5th week. So
I was telling my former bookie on Wednesday night, I'm like, look, I'm going to do smarter gambling this year in college football and NFL. I'm going to win money this year. Like, I haven't won in 5 years, bro. Like, real talk. As a gambler, don't take my advice. This is Dre Montez. Please, this is just for fun and games. But on the serious side, I haven't won in 5 years. I've lost, like, and I try to win my money back on the midnight game, the late game on Saturdays, and it doesn't go well. And then I go on Sundays to the NFL. It's atrocious. But I got a funny feeling. First of all, I'm holding off on gambling until week 2. Week two. I'm going hard in the paint this year, bro. I'm winning this year. Right.
So we're going to move right along here. So you've had Howard. I got Rutgers. That's our first different pick so far of this new college football pick'em on the show here. We're going to go into Raleigh, North Carolina, where Western Carolina versus number 24 North Carolina State at 7 p.m. on the ACC network. Location is Carter Field Stadium in the capital city of Raleigh, North Carolina. There was a lot of questions that we're going to have for the Wolfpack and Western Carolina coming up in this breakdown little session here. North Carolina made some key acquisitions. They got the quarterback from Coastal Carolina. Now I'm starting with them because their quarterback Morris is supposed to be back this year, but Armstrong is now gone. Brandon Armstrong is long gone. He was senior last year. He only played 1 year for North Carolina State. Now they're turning around. They brought in the kid from Coastal Carolina. Since the head coach left, he came in. Grayson McCall. How does he fit in with the Wolfpack for this team? How does he get gelled quickly and how he can become an effective quarterback? And it usually starting off with his first game against unmanned Western Carolina, not talented Western Carolina team. So how can we see this game forting out and how we can see McCall kind of building his confidence in this ball game?
I mean, coming out of a program like Coastal Carolina, what they've been doing the past 5 years, that's an eyebrow raiser right there. Why did you leave, and what are you bringing to the team? You, as an ACC fan, you already know what North Carolina State has to offer up there in Raleigh. So I'm intrigued by the transfer. What is the connection? How tall is this quarterback?
Let me see here.
5'11"?
No, let me bring up the roster real quick.
Because while you're doing that, when people transfer, and because they open it up so wide open right now, I have so many questions. Do you have an affiliation? Is there a coach? There a player you're trying to do this with? Or does the scheme fit what you can bring to the team? Because we hear so many stories why players left and it didn't work out for them. I want to hear stories more about players that went into a program and system that worked out for them. Don't hold me back, coach.
All right, Grayson McCall is 6'3", 220 pounds, senior out of Indian Trail, North Carolina.
I know that country. I know that town. 6'3", wow.
Yeah,
that's a good skill set, good attribute, good weight. I like that. That means he can see down the field. And coming out of Coastal Carolina, he can read a defense very fast because the competition they were having down there when that program was really getting to the highest point when everybody just thought it was a community college in Myrtle Beach. So I like this. I'm not saying I'm picking them, but I'm intrigued by this matchup in this game scenario. To me, how about you?
I'll look at it this way. That's what I want to look at here. I want to see how he gels with Concepcion, the wide receiver that was electricity for North Carolina State last year.
Mhm.
That dude can turn the game around on kickoff returns, punt returns, and the wide receiver. They ran some naked screens for him, turned those naked screens into freaking 15 to 40. You blink an eye, he's about 45 yards down the field. So I want to see that connection. That's one thing I want to see on this game is that connection with Concepcion, who had 71 receptions last year, 839 yards, but averaged 11.8 per reception. His longest was 72 yards. He had 10 touchdowns for North Carolina State. So that's one thing I want to see. But the next thing I really want to see is they're running. He also ran 40. He carried 41 times for 320 yards. 7.8 was his carry. 65 was his long when they had no touchdown. But Mims the third is something that last year he had the most carries for North Carolina State. But Rafael, running backs, he had 67 carries, but 309 yards. But Concepcion, but Armstrong had the most for North Carolina. So they got to get back to their running game. They got to find a running back who can be effective because your quarterback last year in Armstrong had 143 carries for 665 yards. He led the team in rushing last year for North Carolina State. So they got to.
It's the old man in me, but I'm starting not to like the running quarterback anymore. There's so much that could happen. Besides you fumbling, besides you hurting your hand, besides you being out for the year, there's so much that I used to love a running quarterback. I used to love the option. I used to love all that. But the different variations of college football that we're seeing, the common denominator that's not winning anymore is that quarterback that runs. Like for real, look at the success of the quarterback that runs in collegiate football. What has happened there? Nothing. I like that guy that take the easy route out, throw that ball out of bounds.
Because if you do that, I mean, sometimes when the running quarterback starts running out, they get caught from behind the line of scrimmage. They lose a lot of yards. If you pass the ball out of bounds, you still get the 2nd and 10, and you live to fight another day, a little bit of thing. But also on the turnaround, where is North Carolina State's defense is going to replace Peyton Wilson, who had 138 tackles, but also led the team in interception as a linebacker. So now, where does the linebacker core for North Carolina State, how do they replace this great athlete who went on to the NFL, is making a great name for himself at the Pittsburgh Steelers camp? So now they got to replace him, that one of the best defensive players, probably played at NC State in a while. So now he's gone. NC State's defense is now transitioned over with the linebacking core. How does North Carolina State replace their defensive core unit guy who led the nation and who had 138 tackles and 3 interceptions, who led the ball club?
In the words of all these great coaches that had great programs in the 80s and 90s and even 2000s, when it comes to getting new players to fulfill a space that a great player had, you can't put that on that child. Come in here and do you. Come in here and be you, and let's see what happens. Look at all the great college football players defensively. Somebody came behind them. And if the coach, it's the verbiage of the coach to the child, as I've been learning the past 2 years, and since 3 years since transfer portal, but it's year 2. Year 3. That transfer portal and the communication matters. So if I'm coming into this program to replace a stud that is doing his thing on Sundays and did what he'd do on Saturdays, not my issue.
Yeah.
Coach, let me be.
If you look at North Carolina State, their strong point this year is not going to be part of the linebacker core. It's going to be that secondary. That secondary is a bear. It's deep talent, and it shouldn't have a problem holding up. But also, you got to look at it too. Western Carolina's quarterback is not really a lounge. And quarterback Cole Gonzalez, he threw for 28 touchdown passes last season for Western Carolina University. So you're still talking about you're playing a top 5, you're playing a top 24 team in the nation coming into preseason. We don't know exactly how McCall is going to gel with Concepcion, if they really can gel, or really had enough time in the spring leading up into the fall to congeal really, or some of the all-time practice where they can congeal together. So that's going to be a little bit of a timing issue there with North Carolina State, but also Western Carolina's defense is not that great. So that you can build that confidence here in the first game, and it can lead a little bit more into the season on. So that's a little bit of
week 2 to week 3. That's when you can
So,
figure things out where you're going. But that's a great point that you brought up right there. That really is an excellent point. But it's like, did you go through the same high school your whole life, or did you transfer?
I went to the same high school.
Okay. So I transferred to a different high school, and the expectations and even in the program that you have, and then in yourself, you got to combine those two. You've heard about this program for years and decades, your whole life, but you know what you can bring to the table. How do those two meet to make it make sense, even with a coach? That is my despairing challenge, despairing changes that I challenge any kid that's trying to transfer. Why? Make it make sense to me.
Yeah,
you got to do you. Do you to give you the best opportunity to play on a Saturday for us to see you? Do you? But still, at the same point, make it make sense.
To me, if you're really looking at transferring, you're probably looking at that top player. You probably already made. If you know you're going to go to that school when you got your mind made up, you never know. They might talk to each other on the phone, met up, started learning each other's tendencies way ahead of time before you even committed to the program to build that continuity and make sure that's the right fit. And if it's the right fit, he probably end up committing. So you got players talking to other players on the team. Hopefully that's the case when you transfer in, that you're already talking to the top wide receiver, trying to get your port, find out if your ability matches up with his abilities, his tendencies match up with your tendencies, and if you can get on that same connection. To me, I think McCall probably did that with Concepcion. I would have if I was NC State and him, knowing that he's a top passer, one of the top passers from out of Coastal Carolina, knowing that you're going to get a guy coming in. So, I mean, I would have already had that communication with the top receivers and receiving core and try to build up a practice and stuff like that and come in and see if I can get my continuity ahead of time leading into spring practice. That's what to me, that would have made more common sense.
Right.
To go ahead
and know if the Concepcion kid is related to the baseball player, Dave Concepcion, former Cincinnati Red. I would love to know if they're related, because you don't hear that last name often. Concepcion? What? Is he related to the baseball player, Dave Concepcion? Is that his grandchild? If that's his son, high five. Because Dave Concepcion's old fuck.
Hold on.
Yeah, I would love to know that. Nobody has that name, bro. Nobody.
What's the other guy? David Concepcion?
Dave Concepcion used to play Major League Baseball for the Cincinnati
for the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah. I would love to know if they're related.
I don't know.
I love how quick you can find stuff. You're like a Siri Google.
Let's see here.
Oh my God.
No, they're not kin.
What?
They're not
kin?
Nope. No, this guy was born in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I love Charlotte. 704.
He's 5'11", 187 pounds. So
holy Toledo.
No, but we know that electric atmosphere in Carter Philly Stadium. I hear it all the time when I talk to my North Carolina State friends. Oh, we got the best environment in college football, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, whatever. But anyway, they seat about, let's see if they give me the capacity of the stadium. No, they don't give me the capacity of the stadium right now.
Where the hell are they playing at?
At Carter Philly Stadium.
Ooh.
In Raleigh, North Carolina.
I love Raleigh, man. So when I went to Wilmington First time I've been down there in a long time. I had no idea Raleigh totally rebuilt itself after the flood that killed Crabtree Mall.
Yep.
I had no idea. The city is, man.
Even Crabtree, even they rebuilt Crabtree.
Right. I ran into a person that broke down the history that lives in downtown Raleigh. I was like, what? And was showing me pictures. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm going with NC State.
Yeah, I'm going, even though that's my sister's college, Western Carolina University, but my sister also is a fan of NC State. I'm picking NC State to win this game. So
okay. I don't want you to get in trouble now.
I ain't getting in trouble. How about my sister? me and my sister had to be separated when we watch football. When we watch our team play each other, we had to be separated because we get in fights.
You watch football with your sister?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like watching sports with my dad and mom. My sister, she likes sports at a certain point.
All right, we're moving right along in this thing here. Our next game will be North Carolina A&T, well, A&T, not AT&T, but A&T versus Wake Forest. This game is played at Allegiance Federal Credit Union Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
They're like 20 minutes apart. A&T and Winston-Salem State. Winston-Salem. That's wild.
Yeah.
I love Wake Forest.
Yeah, North Carolina A&T is in Greensboro, North Carolina, Winston-Salem.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a little bit. It's going to be 79 degrees in Winston-Salem at the game here. This is going to be an interesting contest. Wake Forest has got a 90.1% chance of winning to 9.9% chance of winning for North Carolina A&T. A&T last 5 games last year, they lost all 5. Wake Forest last 5 games, they lost all 5. So both teams coming in with a 0-5 losing streak since start of last year. This game is going to be on the ACC Extra and the ESPN Plus. So not really.
Television. Wow.
This is going to be a streaming game, so you can catch that on the Watch ESPN. If you're a cable local, let you watch it, because you got to get that package. So
that's what she said.
So this is going to be interesting. What is your take on A&T and Wake Forest out of the ACC this season?
I've been to an A&T game when they played North Carolina Central. My second wife's sister graduated from Central, so I went to the homecoming game and they played A&T. And just looking at the news and the recruiting and transfer portal and how they finished last year, and the fact they're about to play Wake Forest, a lot of people like that rude awakening. This is definitely going to be a rude awakening. Just because I live next door to you don't mean you can come to my house. And that's what's about to happen right here. I think Wake Forest, I don't think it's going back to the football program that it was in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, but this could be a good coaching job that the coach and the classification it can have, meaning the kids that came back for another year. This could be a resume builder, or as most people say, a resume, but I call it resume. This could be a better resume builder for the Wake Forest coaching staff moving forward. Now, North Carolina A&T, we know you're doing this for money. You probably do need this money, but I don't think you want this smoke. No. Give me Wake Forest.
Yeah, if you look at it this way, this is an interesting tidbit I found on this.
Okay.
North Carolina A&T is coming off a rough 1-win season with no passing game, not enough from a run defense, and no breaks whatsoever. This is the only game this year against an FBS team with Winston-Salem State coming up next. So this is the only game they're going to play against the FBS. So this is why I think the game is on ESPN Plus, because it's not going to be a very attractive game if they had the same issues they had last year with no passing game, no running defense. Wake Forest look like they're going to run up and down the field. And Do you go with that? If you go with what it says on paper and Wake Forest plays, this game could be like 100-0.
I'm just telling you, the rude awakening. There's a lot of college football programs in the next 3 weeks going to find out. I didn't know that team was that good.
Now, we're going to look at Wake Forest. Wake Forest is coming in with a new quarterback and Hank Magamere. I think that's right. Batchmere should be a Demon Deacons passing game with no offensive line. Won't be a rock, but it's full of veterans who took lumps last season. So they got the offensive line is not a real dominant offensive line, but they got some plays and took some lumps last year. So they got some experience. You're looking at overall with a good group of running backs, what should quickly be a strong receiving core. But on the other side, the Aggies offense shouldn't explode. So
you said so many sexual innuendos right there.
If you look at it this way, Wake Forest offense, starts going and getting that running game and getting that passing game and that slow mesh. We know that Clausen slow mesh, point of putting the ball in the running back and holding it for so long does set up a problem with AT&T to overcommit. And when they do, that's when the ball carriers start getting by the defensive lineman and the receiving core starts going down into that thing. So that's my point.
You made me pay attention to Wake Forest a few years ago. So I'm acclimated. I'm familiar with the offensive scheme, the defense scheme. I'm familiar with that program. Like, I'm well versed in what Wake Forest is trying to do. And if they continue what they've been trying to do, they could be a 7 to 8 win team to me this year, based on what they've done in the past and know how to use the talent that's coming in the door, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But if you look at
you said earlier, when you're replacing somebody that's doing great things on Sunday and did great things on Saturday for the program, that's hard. But I don't want to put that information on the kid. The kid already knows that. Why must I tell him again, who you're replacing, right? I'm not coaching to do his things. No. Let's go.
If you look at the line on this one here, is Wake's favored by 37.5, but the over and under hasn't even come out yet for this ball game.
Yeah, that's because there's so many mitigating circumstances on that game. Like, I wouldn't touch that game as a gambling person, but it's going to be fun to watch. It's like you played your lottery numbers, but you didn't play them, but they hit because you don't want to play it that day.
Yeah.
I feel it.
So
give me Wake.
You taking the Demon Deacons too?
Give me the Demon Deacons. And I do not like Chris Paul at all. And I did not feel the appreciation for Tim Duncan when I did radio in Charlotte. My apologies.
Well, you didn't like the swimmer? You didn't like the swimmer to turn basketball player?
You cracked me up, Ray. I swear you cracked me up.
Tim Duncan was a swimmer before he was a basketball player.
With feet like that, he better. Them long ass mud fins. Look, if you got big feet, get in the water. Men and women, get in the water. Get in the water.
Yeah.
We got some people talking to us on the book face.
All righty.
Another student from Alabama.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish up this college pick'em. We'll talk about UCF versus New Hampshire at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus at FBS. Mortgage Stadium in Orlando, Florida. We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about Jackson State, ULM Monroe a little bit. Then we'll go for a little bit of fast pick'em all the way down until we get to the University of North Carolina versus Minnesota game at 8 p.m. when we come back after these messages. You're actually watching and listening to the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown on the All Sports, All Plays Network. We'll be right back after this message.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown. I am Ray Crews. Dre will be right back here momentarily. So we're getting ready to bring out the football here in Orlando, Florida, about 2.5 hours away from where I live here in Jacksonville. Will be New Hampshire versus ECU, UCF, University of Central Florida at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. So we'll be breaking down that game here momentarily once Dre joins me back here on the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown. I'm going to go ahead and put the schedule back down for week 0. Continue. These are the Thursday nights games we're going over here. We only have 4 games today. We have a lot of games on Thursday, and then we will go into week 1 on Friday since we are a Saturday show. So we'll bring all that into this program here on today. We got a lot of more games to go. We're going to talk about this New Hampshire versus UCF game, and then we're going to go into a fast rapid all the way down till we get to an 8 o'clock game to meet our time constraint. We usually get about 16 games really breaking into during the season, and then we do a fast rapid pick of all the games so we can get you all the games that we picked to keep our pick 'em going on. Like I said, Dre does very well in week 1, week 2, week 3. He starts moving downhill during week 4, 5, and 6, and on down. That's when I pick up steam. Yeah, because I get a lot of insights and on stuff that goes on.
Insider
and I make my choices around. So Jay's kind of mad at me.
I heard that. Okay. That's called insider trade information. That's federal crime.
That's called when I seen you come back in the screen. That's called just putting it on you. You know.
That's what she said. Hello, America.
So there you go there on that one. There we're going to talk about UCF football here, football preview. What do you see coming out of Orlando, Florida, where UCF is home base out of, and they're actually playing at the FBCS Mortgage Stadium in Orlando. So what is your take on this year's team?
I'm in love with that football program. Like, I fell in love with that program like 6 years ago because I saw the rebuilding process. And the players that not just been recruiting, but what the players been doing on the field and what they've been doing on Sundays I love this football program. I'm fascinated by any football program in Florida outside of my Gators, but UCF is on a different level, bro. Like, for real. They have been rising to the occasion. They had one slip up because they got too cocky a couple years ago. But since then, I'm still messing with them. They don't have the household names in years before, like in a couple years ago. But they got some guys that want to play team football. That's what you need. You need somebody to buy into the system, buy into the program, buy into the believability of the coaching. And that's hard to do with these kids now due to social media and outside influences and family. But to buy into the football program, UCF gets it, to me. Yeah, this team can never do anything wrong to me.
Yeah, so if you look at it this way here too, is will New Hampshire give UCF a run for the money? They're moving into the Big 12. You know, they get a few tune-ups. They get Sam Houston next at home game, but the program is 26-1 since moving up into the FBS in 1996.
Yep, and look how competitive they've been. I think maybe 3 years they have not been competitive in moving the needle.
If you look at it this way here, UCF is coming off a 6-7 record. New Hampshire's 6-5 record last year. This game is on ESPN Plus. You can see it there. So this is a Thursday night game. The Wildcat quarterback have lost quarterback Max Brosser to Minnesota, and do it all running back Dylan Labor is gone through the transfer portal. Wide receiver Logan Tomlinson is a problem. Can the Wildcats run D work against UCF, who was 2-7 when allowing 100 yards or more last season? New Hampshire averaged 115 yards per game on the ground. So which is going to give up here for the way New Hampshire's got to do it? They got to replace their quarterback. They got a good wide receiver who can be a problem. They got a running back in Damian Loeb who can run. They averaged 115. UCF last year had trouble with teams that over 100 yards. They were 2-7 when they gave up 100 yards. So how does New Hampshire get that 100 yards from the running back against this UCF team?
That means you got to start early. You got to. So if UCF is doing their game plan according to Madden College Football 25, if you're doing your weekly reads and your weekly training, you know how to anticipate what's coming from the coaching and how the scheme is going to go. If I'm the defensive captain on the field, I'm calling the plays on the field. I'm being that forward thinking to let my line know and my secondary know and my linebacking core what's going on. When I see that read, everybody knows when they see something. When you see a read and you're playing a team sport, you got to tell your people. So it's about the communication factor with me, with UCF. I don't want them to get too cocky because the high expectations of them win this game by a large volume is there. It's there. But again, it's week 0, week 1, week 2, week 3. Don't overcompensate the situation. Just because you see it, you told your teammates about it, can you stop it? Can you stop it? Look at everybody that has won in college football the past 25 years. We knew the play, we knew their money play, but nobody could stop it. But you knew it was coming. You knew. How can you? That is the mitigating factor to me in college football. You know the matchup. You know what they're going to do. You know their money play. When you see it, can you stop it? That's the thing to me. I don't care what level, who you're playing against, D1, D2, D3, flag football. I don't give a damn. If you know that read and you turn around or you throw your fingers up to let that secondary know, spread out, come in, whatever, bump and run, understand that I see the read and we don't cover it, I'm pissed. I'm pissed as a player. And a lot of college football players go through that. It's overcompensating the game. But at the end of the day, I think UCF has a better program to me. They've been building and building and building and building for the past. You said they came in the conference in 98?
96.
96? Yeah, those first 2-3 years, it was a learning curve. Then they got the female athletic director. It really changed then. When they went out and got a football coach, not an academic advisor, but they went and got a football coach, that whole program changed.
Now, yeah.
Dante Culpepper, talk to me.
Yeah, if you look at it too, UCF will be starting a new quarterback who is should be a balanced attack because they got the Arkansas transferring quarterback KJ Jefferson. Has a deep threat to open up things a bit, but the idea here is to get Jefferson's warmed up with all parts around him, putting up at least 30 points over 400 yards of total offense shouldn't be an issue if they get this part going. So now what they want to do is start the quarterback in all aspect. Are they talking about starting him handing the ball off to the running back, getting the running game going, and then let him develop into that passing attack, or starting him off passing first and then going into the running game later on in the ball game?
My hopes on KJ Jefferson was high when he was at Arkansas, or Kansas as I call it. But at the same time, how I talked about the running quarterback. Why are you running? Why did you run? He had a lot of games he could have won, but that selfishness of the quarterback not understanding the development of the play. Just give me 5 seconds to make something happen, coach. I need that offensive line to do that. And I think KJ Jefferson violated that at Arkansas to me. So maybe this should be a better start for him, a better situation. But I hope he understands the skill set. Being a quarterback, in college football, but still trying to develop and understand the game.
Yeah, I get you on that. That's the interesting thing there too. So if you look at all the stuff we talked about, the running games, they've got to be effective for New Hampshire. If that gets effective, how does UCF defense counteract that 2-7 when a team gets over 100 yards? They got to push their hard commit more to the box. And that might leave it open a little bit of a passing game that New Hampshire has.
So do you believe that a team can have a bad year, not due to coaching, not due to players, just have a bad year, just a bad year? So that 2-7 record, I don't want to believe in that, because I believe in that program, what UCF has been doing. After the third year, since 2000, what UCF has been doing, impeccable to me. New Hampshire, no. You're good in football and soccer. No, baseball, soccer, volleyball, badminton, and water polo. No, this is another money game. Go in there and take that whipping, okay, that UCF is going to give you. But at the same time, UCF is still reflecting off that 2-7 record that you speak of. You got to get over that. If I'm a coach, when you coach, did you talk about the previous season to your kids to motivate them?
No, well, I use a different strategy when I motivate my team. I didn't show the last year tapes of us. I show the last year tapes of the teams that we lost to and that we beat, and the teams that we're actually going to focus on the upcoming season. I show their game film to get their motivation up, because most likely some of the teams that we had their players coming back for another season. So I wanted to show them what they played out and say, hey, look, you play this team here and you can stop this guy here. We can X this guy and you become that guy.
Well said, coach.
That's the way I look at it. That's the way I've done. So
I didn't coach.
We have David Barnes, who's watching from Cedar Hill, Texas.
Cedar Hills, Texas, in the building. Hook them if you got them.
Yeah, and then we have Jason Bello, who's laughing.
That's my brother from Alabama. Roll Tide.
I want to get them on the show real quick. Then I got a couple persons putting out personal websites. We don't promote other people's websites
your
here.
Shit on our show, bro. It don't work that way. Stop that.
You're saying you're watching from somewhere, we'll go ahead and bring you up, your comments up like that. But if you're gonna put a website
out in bed
like
with your bonnet on, let us know. How many women watching the show? What my women college football fans at?
So welcome to the show, David. Glad to see that you're well alive in the state of Texas, in Cedar Hill.
Deep in the heart of Texas. Woo!
They say everything's bigger in Texas, so
that's what
we'll see.
Said.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I love me some Texas and Oklahoma win.
Well, we look at it. Get back to this game real quick here. Sometimes we get a little bit off the topic a little bit here. Have fun with that fans on here. Got to get them some recognition on here. Hopefully, in the next few months, I can get some interactive polls that we can put in the chat, and y'all can go to them and vote for these games as we breaking them down too. So that's my next goal, to try to incorporate fans into our broadcast. So if you look at it this way here, UCF is favored by 42.5 points. No over and unders in this game. They are predicting the score: USC 52, New Hampshire 13. So
I got UCF, bro. No comparison. No way in the hell New Hampshire beating UCF. No.
Yeah, you're going with the same way I picked. I already have all my games picked. So, yep, I got UCF in this ball game too. We're gonna do what we call a rapid fire.
I love rapid fire.
We gotta get down, because we got a lot of games. We gotta get down to some of the nitty gritties that we're actually gonna pick out here. So we're gonna do a little bit of rapid fires. I'll bring their information up here on the screen. Let me get this one out of the way here. All right, this is the first rapid fire. Is Jackson State and UL Monroe at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Location is Malone Stadium in Monroe, Louisiana. Who do you have in this ball game?
I've been to Monroe. I played in that softball complex across the street. So give me UL Monroe, baby. Give me them.
I got Jackson State in this game.
Okay. Mark it down now. Mark it down.
I got a spreadsheet going on right over here, like I normally do. All right, next game is Lafayette and Buffalo at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Locations at UB Stadium in Buffalo, New York.
Lafayette.
Who you got, man?
Oh, give me Buffalo.
I got Buffalo also in this one. All righty. Next game is Fordham and Bowling Green at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Location is Dort L. Perry Stadium in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Give me Bowling Green. Give me Bowling Green.
I got Bowling Green also in this ball
Fordham
game.
is a track school, so give me Bowling.
All righty. Central Connecticut and Central Michigan at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Location at Kelly Shore Stadium in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Who you got?
Shout out to my son Tim, my youngest boy. Give me Central Michigan.
Yep, I got Central Michigan also in that ball game here. So let's get that one out of the way here. Next game is Arkansas Pine Bluff at Arkansas at 7:30 on ESPNU. Location at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Who the hell playing this game? Great job. What the? You got Arkansas Pine Bluff against who?
Arkansas.
Man, give me Arkansas, bro. Give me Arkansas all day on that one. All day.
Yeah, I got Arkansas. I got Arkansas in that game too. Yeah, SEC is going to be rolling some of the games today. Murray State at number 11, Missouri at 8 p.m. on the SEC Network. Locations in Memorial Stadium in Columbia, Missouri. How far are you from there?
I am 2 hours from Mizzou. M-I-Z. Z-O-U. In Mizzou. The year of my receiver. He got the potato chips. Damn it. His dad's a basketball coach, my best friend, Coach Pat, STL Pressure. Luther Burton.
Yeah. All right. Next game is Duquesne at Toledo at 7:30 on ESPN Plus. Location, the Glass Bowl in Toledo, Ohio.
Give me Toledo all day.
You got Toledo. I got Toledo. We all got Toledo. Next game is going to be fun. It might be a laugher for you here. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The last game for Rapid Fire will be Linwood at number 22, Kansas at 8 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Location, Children Mercy Park in Kansas City, Kansas.
You said Lindenwood?
Lindenwood.
Which is here in St. Louis and St. Charles, where NFL player Pierre Desure came out of, was drafted. My oldest kid went to Lindenwood. I used to play around at Lindenwood, but they're not going to win this game. Give me Kansas.
Kansas. All righty, my friend. Here we go. We're going to break down the next game. Let's see here. Next game, we've got North Carolina and Minnesota at 8 p.m. on Fox. Location, Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Let me go first, because I know you're a Carolina fan.
Go ahead.
I like the coach at Minnesota. He is on a whole different level, but I think Minnesota gave the football program and the coach way too much, and they hadn't done shit. They hadn't done shit. I'm waiting on Minnesota to meet up to the expectations of the way he can recruit, the way he talks to players, and the way he believes in his football schematics. But Carolina, you put me on Carolina and Wake Forest. I've watched more ACC football since I've been messing with you the past 4 years than I've ever watched ACC football. Ever. I watch ACC for basketball, not football. That's just dumb shit to me. But what this Carolina football program has been doing offensively, time of possession, and understanding how to score when they have the ball is impressive to me. That game against Wake Forest a couple of years ago that really spoke volumes. The game against Florida State a few years ago really spoke volumes. Just the way not the players. I'm just looking at the program, what they kept together, how they continuously do things. This is a good matchup. Like I like this, but I have to go with Carolina in this one. But Minnesota, if they believe in a coach and vice versa, when you go with a high-profile coach and a coach that speaks that way and you're a player that's coming into that program, it really challenges you. So I'm going to go with Carolina on this.
Now, I look at it this way. This is why I look at it.
Here we go.
We got Drake May is gone. He's playing for New England now. The offense still could be terrified because he did go out and get a transfer portal and a speedy weapon in Texas A&M and LSU transfer Max Johnson. He is a good veteran who can step in and shine at quarterback. But they also still got Armand Hampton, the top running back from last year, who sometimes it's hard to get him down in the first contact. He had over 100. He had over, I think they said 627 yards after contact.
Okay.
Total for the year. So you still got him. So the team's going to load up in the box to try to stop the running game, because that's going to be the key, because you need to find out what Carolina has at quarterback. I need to find out what Carolina has at quarterback, because that's the machine that makes that offense really work, is the RPOs that North Carolina runs. Your quarterback's got to be very good at the RPOs and stuff. Max Johnson could do that. He is the son of the quarterback from the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Johnson there that played at FSU. So you got that a little bit. He's got a little bit of a quarterback instinct. You also, too, Minnesota's coming off a 0-7 year, too, with allowing 24 or more points. North Carolina shouldn't have a problem averaging that this season. But what it's going to be a hard time is they're playing in Minneapolis, Minnesota. North Carolina on the road had not played very well during the tenure of Matt Brown in the last few years. So that's a little bit of the thing. There's a Heckle and Jai team, because they played great at home, played worse on the road, but they also played to the level of their competition. And that's my eye of that. But if you look at this too, last year Minnesota could do anything through the air against the Tar Heels, who weren't exactly a 2000 Baltimore Ravens defense. I don't know why they quote that jump, but that's what I put
glad
on
you
my
read that. That's crazy, but go ahead.
So if you look at Ethan Calavas, the quarterback, he completed 11 out of 29 passes for 133 yards and one pick over Rutgers. But now here comes Mac Balsimer, who's a dangerous playmaker for New Hampshire, who now is at Minnesota, who is thrown over 8,700 yards in his career and scored over 70 points in his career in college football combined. But he played at New Hampshire, so that's a little bit of a misleading stat right there, because now he stepped into the level of competition in the Big Ten, ACC, Power 5 conference. Because, like I said, if your quarterback is good at some competition, well, he's going to translate when he plays against better athletes.
Thank you.
That's like, a little bit
like Nate did last year. He stepped up to the table. I feel you on that. Yeah.
So if you look at it this way, people are judging people coming out of the small school. Oh, he's got these great stats, but they're not playing against superior talent like some of these teams like North Carolina, Alabama, Florida State, North Carolina State.
That's not the kids' fault. That's the system. That's the program. That's the scheduling of the NCAA committee. And people need to stop that.
But you got to look at too, though. If you look at inferior competition to inferior competition, it's a little bit different. You're stepping up to a next level, because you're playing against a person that's really a top tier player, and in high school ball. Now he's translated already to college. Now you hoping that this quarterback comes from a small college who plays against inferior opponents. Now you're playing against a top notch opponents in the Power 5. How do you translate that inferior talent to an inferior talent? So that's
how do you like the quarterback that you have now, Carolina?
Max Johnson. I've seen a little bit of practice. I like Max Johnson. We did get Criswell back, who was in the program, transferred out last year to Arkansas, and he came back. So he knows the system, because he's only gone a year. He knows the system. So that's quarter of competition. But also, Harold did show me something in that bowl game, who replaced Drake May in the bowl game. He didn't look good sometimes, but sometimes he looked great in that ball game. So I mean, it's all depends on. We got 3 top tier quarterbacks. We got 3 quarterbacks that we can choose from. But which one will win the composition job? It's still going into the fall camp. He still has not made his decision who's starting because he's not going to make the decision till game time.
So
That's
you're
what
going
Matt
into
Brown
this
came
first
up with.
game with 2 quarterbacks.
You're going in the game with 3 quarterbacks.
You're going in the first game with 3 quarterbacks? Wow.
3 quarterbacks. He said that he's got 3 he's got 3 quarterbacks who are similar and who are in stalemates right now in the competition.
So there's somebody he likes that's not doing it the right way. There's somebody that can do it, but they don't know it. And there's this other guy that has all the intangibles, but he doesn't know it.
Right.
That's how you go into a 3 quarterback system right there. But if you can win with 3 quarterbacks, that's impressive. I mean, that's 80s college football to me, 80s and 90s football to me.
If you look at Matt Brown, he don't want to give out who he's starting, so Minnesota has to prepare for all 3 quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to give out who's going to start.
What's that?
Who's going to play in the first? He will not announce the starting quarterback until you see him come out on the field.
Matt Brown is old school, bro. He is old. He still has a rotary phone. He's that old school. What's the coach name in Minnesota? Fleek.
Flat. He was at Central Michigan.
Yeah.
He came over.
Yeah. He has so much energy. But
he does not want to believe him. Matt Brown thinks he's got an advantage because if they don't know what quarterback is coming out, they have to prepare for 3 different quarterbacks, 3 different styles too. So
that's what I just said. Matt Brown is so old school. Those 3 quarterbacks believe they're all 3 starters. He has that believability in him. You ever lost money to somebody, but you thought you won because they had that much game in them, and you didn't know you lost money until you got home? That's how Matt Brown is. He has that believability, he has that old school in him, and he has the balls and the galls to tell you, look where I coach college football at. Look where I left. I left Texas to come back. Volume.
Yep.
Volume.
So I got North Carolina taking this game. Who you got?
Me too. Give me Carolina.
All right, we got Carolina there. All right, my next game here we're going to talk about. We got to put old Mr. Let's see here. Did I put it in here? I might have skipped over him. Yeah, we didn't got the graphic for that one, but that's okay though. Our next game we're going to be talking about will be Mr. Primetime in Colorado versus North Dakota State, the Jackrabbits. I think that's the Jackrabbits. One of the freaking things.
Do you pay attention to off-season noise in college football? I know you want to do college football show all year. Ray wants to do the show all year. And I was like, no. He loves college football that much, but I still pay attention to the news and the noise, read the headlines. You believe all these stories come out of Colorado?
All I know is they named the Denver. I think he's a Denver Post writer that started talking about Deion Sanders and all the discipline, all the problems he was having with, I guess, people leaving, all the rules and stuff that he had for discipline. Right. And now the university come out and said they will not answer any more questions for him and not even giving him the press credentials for games.
Hold on, Ray.
Or any preseason.
You and I are old enough to know that there have been other coaches to implement the same standards and policies at their football program. You can't do this. You can't do that. You must do this. He's not the first one. It's because of the rise of social media. People looking at like, well, you can't be doing that. Did you know to play at a high D1 sports program, you just can't. No, you have to be applicable to the rules and policies that the coach sets out there. You just can't be yourself. You got to adjust to the system and be yourself in those standards. And I think people getting the shit just wrong. I don't know if it's because it's Deion. I don't know if it's because it's what Colorado has been through since the days of Mike McCarthy and Cordell Stewart and Charles Johnson and all of that. But at the same time, the ridicule and the finger pointing and the conversation going around college football concerning Colorado is wild to me. It's wild.
Yeah. I look at it this way. To me personally, I really like the standard Deion Sanders set at Colorado. I like the standard that he puts in discipline. I like the way he's telling them, you can't wear no earrings in this program.
Yes, sir.
You're putting a business suit. You're going to be business-like. He's teaching them how to be a business person, also being a professional athlete. But also what I like, too, is he walks around campus, and they tell the story every time he walks around campus. If he sees a football player don't open the door for a woman, he would not let him play the next game. He's even came out and said it. So I like the way his discipline is. I like the way to translate his coaching style really is. He's a hands-on, but he also lets his coordinator coaches. He makes a little bit of tweaks here and there. But like I said, I'm in a sports broadcasting class at Full Sail, and I actually did a piece on a thing for my class. Was all about the interview he had with Aaron Andrews on Fox. The way they set that interview up, the package they did, had him narrate the package, not her, narrate the package all the way up to leading to her first question, was very truthful. And I like the way they put that package in there, because she didn't go away from just staying at Colorado. She went back and showed some video. They had video of him at Jacksonville State and asking him, did he have any doubts of leaving that? He said, no, I did my time there. I put them where they need to be. It's the next man who comes in behind me has to keep that level up.
Got to keep that coaching going.
He said, I came to a university. I came to here. I wanted to start my coaching career at the bottom and work my way to where I'm at now. And that's what he thinks. He says, I don't want to be given a job. He said, I could have took the Florida State job.
Yep.
I didn't want the Florida State job because I didn't want to start at a Power 5 conference. I want to work my way up to a Power 5 conference. I want to prove myself. And when he proved himself at Jacksonville State, boom, that put him at another level. But he didn't want to go back to Florida State because they knew that his standard at Florida State would have been a little bit more higher. But he went to Colorado. Now he's going to turn the Colorado program that was up in 1990, that tied with Georgia Tech and Bobby Ross for the national championship, to bring them back into the limelight. So Deion Sanders, to me, as a coach, is a perfect fit for Colorado.
He is. And he fits that Boulder personality. But at the same time, are really people and players, young men, their families, really ready for discipline? You've never had discipline in your life, never had a structured environment, and now you're about to be playing D1 football, and somebody's telling you to put on a sport coat and a tie and show up on time. How many kids are in that mode? So that's another thing the coach is not talking about. Look at what we get. We know everybody's come from different personalities and backgrounds and wherever they're coming from, but who's ready for that? And you get knocked on the same thing. Dabo Swinney talked about it. Back in the day, Bobby Bowden talked about it. Urban Meyer talked about it back in the day. As most relevant right now, Kirby talks about it at Georgia, going through the bullshit he's going through with the kids trying to drive too fast, thinking they NASCAR drivers down there. They got to do more than just the X's and O's now. And when coaches stand out front and everybody is pointing at that, to me, it's taken away from the actual job. You pointing out this man is telling what he would not allow, but let's look at the coaching. What's going on behind us? We're so focused on the wrong thing, but the overall objective to me is coaching these kids to get to the best of their athletic ability and move on.
Yep.
But to get your mind right, to be in this system and program, put a tie on, son. Put a sport coat on. Take the earbuds off. Take them slides off, them Crocs and flip-flops off, and put some fucking shoes on.
Yeah.
I said something last night. I don't know anybody that's under the age of 30 that wear real shoes no more.
Yeah. If you look at it this way too, and we're getting a little bit off the topic with Deion Sanders, because we are talking about Colorado. But let's get back into the game format here. They play in North Dakota State, the Bisons. The Bisons up front will not have enough to stop Shakir Sanders for Colorado, the quarterback. But also, if you look at some of the standards too, Colorado's offensive line was not top notch
At all.
where it needs to be. So they have some room of improvement on the offensive line. Can we see that improvement happen this year for them to step up a little bit?
I think the first two series, I will be able to read Colorado offensive line, what their objective is. They got the right coaches in there, got the right kids and all that. But Shedeur Sanders, to me, he holds the ball too long, holds the ball down too long. Again, on the running thing as a quarterback, I think that throw the ball, man. If nobody's open, throw the ball out of bounds. Don't take a hit. Don't throw a pick six. If they can get over that hump, I like Colorado in this game. This could be not a big win for Colorado, but I think it'd be a learning curve. Like every time Shedeur comes off the field, if I'm the offensive coordinator or the quarterback coach, offensive line coach, wide receiver coach, I'm bringing him all the video I have. What you didn't see, I'm bringing you everything. I want you to get all this information in. That's why we have the technology to give the quarterback actual printout. It's that ready right now. And they're still failing. That bothers me. But I got Colorado winning this game easily. Easily.
Yeah, I look at it this way too. If you look at what Colorado does, the Colorado's problem is going to be North Dakota doesn't struggle against teams that ran well, not those that could throw. So they struggle against teams that ran the football. Colorado's not a running football team. They're more of a passing football team. Mm-hmm. So the passing doesn't bother them because they only allowed 270 yards they are expecting Shakur to do 300 yards against them this year. So if you look this way, the most Bison's close games and close losses years came when they allow more than 100 yards rushing, and Colorado might not be able to net that if the line isn't far, far stronger than they were last year. So that's another thing too, the struggle of the running game. But North Dakota star quarterback Cam Miller, he is more of a hole of his own, but Sanders will bail the team out. So that's a little bit of things here, difference between the two quarterbacks for North Dakota State Bisons and the Colorado Buffalo. So if you look at it this way, the over and under, the line in this game is 8.5 by Colorado favorite. Over and under is 59.5. So I got Colorado in this game.
I got Colorado in this.
Yeah, I got Colorado in this game. You got Colorado in this game. So,
if Shedeur can stay healthy, bro, he could do some things. But that running, they got to fix that. He ran way too much past 2 years, way too much, when he shouldn't have to, because he didn't understand the defense. But I think now he got it.
So we're going to move right along here. We're going to go to rapid pick'em here. So the next game we're going to pick here in the rapid pick'em started off is Coastal Carolina versus Jacksonville State. Who you got?
Give me Coastal Carolina, player.
I got Jacksonville State in this ball game because they're playing at Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville State. Where they play at? They play at Jacksonville Stadium?
They're playing at Jacksonville Stadium in Jacksonville, Alabama. Okay. So I got that one. SE Louisiana at Tulane. Who you got?
Give me Tulane. Give me the posse.
I got Tulane in that one. Northwestern State at Tulsa. Who you got?
Give me Tulsa, baby.
I got Tulsa in that one. Southern Utah at number 12, Utah. Who you got?
Give me Utah. Give me Utah.
I got Utah. Eastern Utah versus Illinois. Who you got?
Who has a school in Eastern Utah? First of all,
Eastern Utah.
Give me Illinois, man.
Yeah, Illinois. Sacramento State versus San Jose State. Who you got?
Ooh, I love San Jose State.
That's the last game for Thursday.
I love San Jose State. How many games Thursday? 8?
20. 21. 21 games on Thursday.
Oh my God.
All right. This is Friday. This is week 1. First week of week 1.
So
Friday.
Thursday is considered week 0 still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Week 1.
Week 1 starts on Friday.
Frank
Lee at Army. Who you got?
You said Lehigh at Army?
Yeah.
Give me Army.
I got Army too on that one. Temple at number 16, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, man.
Florida Atlantic at Michigan State.
I fucking hate Michigan State, but I got them.
Yeah. So far, we're picking all the same teams out of the first 3 of this Friday game. Elon at Duke.
Oh, my God.
So let's talk about that one a little bit.
They live next door. Isn't Elon College in Carolina?
Yeah, Elon is in Burlington, North Carolina, outside of Greensboro.
I've been to Burlington several times.
And let's talk about this one here. This is going to be an interesting thing because the 2 things that brings me interested in I'm talking about, it's going to be the first game of Manny Diaz as the new head coach at Duke since their head coach left to go back to Texas A&M.
The hell? You and your
yeah.
fellas, bro? I mean,
the defensive
that
coordinator.
Chick something else. That side chick something else.
The defensive coordinator left under Jimbo Fisher to take the Duke job. Then Jimbo gets fired at Texas A&M. They go back and hire him because what he did at Duke, hire him back at Texas A&M, and now brings in Manny Diaz, who was the defensive coordinator for Texas at one of the places. But now he's bringing him back as a head coach at Duke University. So a lot of things has happened at Duke. Leonard Riley's now left Duke, is now the quarterback for Notre Dame.
What?
Yeah.
I would love to see the pregame coach's handshake.
Manny Diaz goes back to his old stomping ground in Texas, bring Malik Murphy from Texas to Duke. So that's Duke's new quarterback, Malik Murphy.
I like that name, Malik. There's always been a good Malik in ACC.
So if you're looking at all the things that has transpired in this ball game, it's going to be an interesting game here to talk about because will Duke go back to being the old way of Duke where they lost all their games, or did they continue to win what they have been building off of in the last since can't think of his freaking name now. The one that was the Manning's quarterback coach. Can't think of his freaking name.
I got it. Hold. Oh my God. Oh,
I can't think of his freaking name.
David Cutcliffe.
Yeah, Cutcliffe. No. And then you got
David Cutcliffe, wasn't it?
Yeah. Went from Cutcliffe to the Texas A&M defensive coordinator. He rose it up again, and now he's left to go to Texas A&M, back to Texas A&M to take over the head coaching job there. So now they bring in Manny Diaz, who didn't do nothing at Miami when he was a head coach. Now this is the second stint. How does Manny Diaz do his second stint in college football
as a head coach? Hatfield and McCoy's game here. Elon against Duke.
Yep.
I mean, they're next door to each other. Like literally, they're Burlington, North Carolina, and Duke are real close, like real talk. Yeah. And you just telling me the coaching scenario. There's more to this. I want to know. This is a TMZ shit here. I want to know what's going on. The side chick
I just told you what's going on. I just told you what's going on. The head coach left to go back to his team that he came from to be the head coach because Jimbo Fisher got gone.
See?
So they bring in Manny Diaz because that's probably the only coach they probably could get to come to Duke. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know whether to carry the 2 or the 1, Ray. I don't know what to do. But I'm going with Duke.
But if you look at it this way here, Duke's defensive line versus Elon's offensive line. That's going to be the question.
What was Elon's record last year? 3 and what?
Elon was. Let me get there. Let me see if I can find our record here. So hold on 1 second. Jay say college football is back. Definitely. laughing his butt off.
What's up, Jay? My
I
dude.
got Dre. Good to see y'all.
What up, Jay?
So, yeah.
Living in Tampa, Florida.
David Burns said Eastern Utah all the way.
I don't understand that. He must
David
know
Burns
somebody
said,
that knows somebody.
David Burns also says Deion Boys is ready this year. So there we go.
Do what? Give me the over-under, 5 or 6 with Carolina. But go find out that Elon. How many games they won last year?
Yeah, I'm about to do it right now.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. I gotta get to the part where I need to get to here. Because they got a lot of freaking things going on here. Duke and Elon. Let's get to the thing here where I can pull up their.
No, Jay.
All right,
Jacksonville. He's in Jacksonville. I thought you were still in Tampa. My bad. Go ahead.
You're in Tampa? No, I'm in Jacksonville.
Right. Jay is in Tampa.
Yeah. Damn, I'm coming back to Florida real soon. Come on, man.
Come on home, dog. Come on home.
All right, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So they won over 3 games.
6. 1, 2.
Elon won 6. You know what? Elon
yeah,
did play in a ball game. They played in a game. Yeah. Okay. They got a real nice offensive tackle.
They're 6-5, and Duke last year was. They bring up Duke. Last year,
what, 7? I think Duke won 7 games last year.
No, they were.
No, they didn't make a bowl game.
Yeah, they did. They played Troy in the Birmingham Bowl, 76 Birmingham Bowl, to beat them 17-10. They were 8-5 last year, 4-4 in the ACC.
He said Colorado going 13-2. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, he said Deion, Colorado going 13-2 this year.
Oh my God.
My Roman Reigns voice, believe that.
Pass that. Pass it to me. I'm gonna hit it.
But anyway, yeah, Duke was 8-5. They won the bowl game against Troy at the 76 Birmingham Bowl.
Right. That's right.
They had a quarterback named Loftus, who actually did pretty good. He didn't have a good game against Wake Forest, passing only 86 yards. Then he passed only 69. Leonard only passed 69, got hurt, and that's when he got hurt in that Florida State game. Then he came back against Louisville with 121 for Leonard. But then Loftus took over because Leonard couldn't continue on the rest of the season. So that's when Loftus started at 86. He had 189 against North Carolina. Loftus had 270 against Virginia, 248 against Pittsburgh. Then he went back to 183 against Troy. So Duke had a good defense. I mean, they only given them
only plays to me when
they played level of competition.
When they play in a conference, they play real strong. You know, you have certain football programs, and I don't know what it is. When they play in a conference, they play really good. But when they get outside the conference, you're like, what the hell? What the hell going on over here? Like,
so if you really want to know the conference outside conference for Duke right now is they play Elon. Then they got to go to Northwestern, play in that high school stadium they constructed because they're rebuilding their stadium at Northwestern.
There you go, talking about people's stadiums again, Ray. One more time, tell people about Old Dominion. How you don't like Old?
Old Dominion. You better get your police escort because you got to go through Hampton Boulevard, which you go past if you get past the naval base, so you get past the lights, and you leave your car on the street, you come back, they're on cinder blocks.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When you go off Old Dominion, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. It's like you were there last night.
Hey, he said, what? David Burns replying back to your smoking thing. While you're smoking that, the Buffaloes are going to smoke every college team this season.
You out your damn rabbit ass mind. No way.
But yeah, Duke and Manny Diaz, they got Elon, Northwestern, home against UConn, go to road to Middle Tennessee. Then they play North Carolina for the first ACC game in September.
They don't have a schedule until week 6.
Yeah, they play Elon, Northwestern, They play UConn, then play Middle Tennessee, and then in September 28th, they play North Carolina for the first ACC game. And then they'll be in the ACC the rest of the time. So
everybody talking about the realignment of these conferences. Look at that fucking schedule. They should be 5-0 going against Carolina. 5-0.
They should, but you got Manny Diaz though as the head coach.
Uh-oh.
But so was last time Manny Diaz. So was the last time Manny Diaz was the head coach that went 5-0.
Exactly.
So
see,
and if you look at Duke's roster, I mean, you got Grayson Lawless, who played most of last year at the second half of the season. Then you got Malik Murphy coming in, who is 6'5", 230 pounds out of Inglewood, California. He's a sophomore. So Lawless 6'3", 215 pounds, sophomore out of Gaffney, South Carolina. So we know Malik Murphy is going to be the starter. Mm-hmm. That's a guarantee for Duke. So
wow. So
but you still got Jaquez Moore, the senior running back, but they got no more Waters at running back. So that Waters was their best running back last year. He's gone. So Jaquez Moore is probably going to step in that role this year from Live Oak, Florida. Then your wide receivers, they had no more Calhoun for Duke. So
are you afraid of Duke this year?
Nope. That coach Duke has some good players. Don't get me wrong. I'm not scared, but Malik Murphy is going to give you a little bit of trouble because what he did at Texas. He can run and he can pass the ball.
He can do his thing.
You had no more Calhoun at wide receiver. That was that big play threat and the go-to guy for Duke. So you have no more of that. You have no more Waters at running back that gave Carolina a little bit of trouble until they sustained the game at the end. But the only thing that terrifies me about North Carolina is we don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be. We don't know how good the defense is. We don't know how the defense is going to be with the new defensive coordinator and Jeff Collins, who was the defense coordinator and the head coach out of Georgia Tech. So we don't know how good that defense is going to be, and we haven't played anybody yet. So I can't really tell you about
Duke in this game.
Yeah, I got Duke in this game. Yeah.
But here's my question for you. Still football. When you have a quarterback that transfers a lot, and he's finally on your team, the expectations. I'm thinking about the Florida State situation and Bo Nix last year. Bo Nix has the NCAA record with 61 starts in college football. Nobody's topped that before. And now you got the Florida State situation with him coming in. And what happened to Florida State last year, you think the expectations on him in week 0 is too high, or let him play?
Yeah, to me, Malik Murphy played great at Texas. But I think he has that expectation because he's that dual threat, that multi-strong arm quarterback, big, tall, got the height of the NFL wants at 6'5". He's 200. He's 6'5", 230 pounds.
God almighty.
So, but to me, with Duke and all that, you're looking at Manny Diaz and stuff like that. So, to me, I look at some ways, but like I said, North Carolina's got that system. We got a transfer quarterback also. We don't know who's playing quarterback for Carolina. Right. Duke knows who they got at quarterback, but they don't know who they got at running back. So, that's a little bit of a thing.
And that helps. That changed the whole scheme, the whole offensive scheme. If I got a running game.
Jay made a comment here. Malik Murphy could be a Cam Newton-style quarterback.
I like that, Jay. I like that, Jay.
He could be. That's a good point right there. He got the same bill as Cam Newton. But he's not. Cam Newton was a little bit more talented with his legs.
Cam Newton at junior college, Cam Newton at Auburn, Cam Newton at Florida.
Cam Newton at Auburn when he won the championship.
He lost his mind at Auburn, bro. He lost his mind at Auburn. And as a Florida Gator fan, I hated seeing that. But the way he chopped up everybody that year, that dude was different.
And then now Jay asked this good question here to who are on your radar at the quarterback position?
Oh man, that's because that's tough right now, man. Because you lost players, you gain your friends. Everybody got a new coordinator. Everybody trying to change the game due to what happened with Washington last year. So everybody is changing up their game and their scheme. So I don't know who the radar is on for me when it comes to the quarterback. I don't have I don't think this is the year of the quarterback in college football no more. I don't think this year is due to what Washington did last year. Look how Washington did what they did. We know what UGA in Michigan did. But look at the quarterback position as a whole in college football. I'm not talking about NFL, but in college football. How can you be relevant in that conversation with a top-tier quarterback? What must you do? Nobody is throwing that ball no more. They're divvying up the plan. They're doing a 40-60 or 60-40. Nobody is going 80% aerial assault. Maybe Oklahoma State. Because that somebody's crazy with the QR codes on the helmet. He would do anything to win a game. And I like coaches that would do whatever to win. But I don't have right now on my radar, Jay, as who is my top tier quarterback right now. I don't have that. Do you?
No, but I do have some projections on mine. And some people are going to, if some of the NC State fans are listening, it's McCall. McCall, to me, I think he's on my radar. He could be up in that top echelon level because what North Carolina does, what North Carolina State has, that wide receiving core, but he might have a lot of more opportunities because their running back situation is not stable at North Carolina State. But then he also has that wide receiver and Concession that can make him look good and give him more yards through that. But also, I think Carson Beck is going to be the eye to watch out because of Georgia and all the troubles that they got going on at Georgia. We know what Stetson Bennett did at Georgia. We know what Carson Beck could do last year. Does he take that next step up and become that dominant quarterback that college football really needs and what Georgia needs? That's one.
Georgia's running back you. They're not going to throw the ball. They're running back you. They have a lineage.
But, yeah, I understand.
Running backs the next 10 years.
But also, you got to look at it too when they stack that front seven up. On the other team, defense stacks that 7 up, and they can't run the ball. The pressure is going to come back on Carson Beck. Look at some of the games that Alabama. Right. Look at some of the games that Georgia played last year. That running game actually didn't take form, and Carson Beck had to win some of the games.
Good point.
So that's what you got to look at too. You got the front 7, and Carson Beck could be that next guy stepping up in that box. But we got to see what he can do when he transformed last season, making him stepping up even more.
What's the man in Tennessee that's quarterbacking? What the hell is his name? That kid.
No, because Dobbs is gone.
Tennessee and Texas, the Manning boy. I'm curious about that.
Now let's see here. Let's go ahead and finish out our rapid fire real quick. We only got 2 more games, and we'll talk about this before we can go because we got 7 minutes to go. We got Western at versus Wisconsin. Who you got?
Give me Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin too. TCU at Stanford. Who you got?
I don't know where Stanford is going with football, bro. Did they just give up on football and said we're going to technology?
Probably.
I like the Horned Frogs. They're really good until fucking November, and they ruin everybody fucking gambling scheme and schematics. But give me the Horned Frogs right now. Give me the Horned Frogs.
I got the Horned Frogs on that. So that's all the college pick'em that we have. We're going to finish this. We're going to finish this out here with the quarterback that Jay has brought up into the thing. He did mention that Auburn is what we want out of him. LOL. That's for Malik Murphy there and Cam Newton, I guess. So we're going to go back to this question here that Jay brought up. And look, and then he says, this is what he says. I'm watching a few. Yours, Texas, Beck, Georgia, Monroe at Alabama, Florida State. Fia is a running back. He's not a quarterback.
I think he does both.
Oh, he's talking about DJ. I say what he said. He's talking about DJ Ugalea at Florida State and then Phoebe at Arizona. Yeah, Phoebe's that's another one too, that Arizona quarterback.
Yeah,
he showed me something last year. He showed me something last year with his toughness and stuff like that. DJ, I don't know if he's going to – depends on what DJ you're talking about. If it's the one that comes out of Oregon State or the one that came out of Florida out of Clemson. So he's going back into the ACC.
He's been at Clemson, Oregon State, and now he's at Florida State. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The expectations of a quarterback that's transferring that much, and you know that, and you look at the record of each school, you're looking at his statistics. What are the expectations of him being with Florida State, knowing what happened last year? Is that too much, or is it granted?
And then I look at it this way. Your Tennessee Volunteer quarterback is Nico Lamavia. Has signed an in-out deal with Beats by Dre, as if he's the draw around. Nico Malavia could not get any greater for the 2024 season. It did on Wednesday.
Dude, we wreck people names on this show, and I love it.
His first name is Nico Lamalia.
Your mama called you Clay. I'm gonna call you Clay. That's how
it is. It is. His last name is spelled Lamaleava. Lamaleava.
I'm gonna let you handle all that.
He said, I agree. You look desperate, so you have to sort out. Hey, man. I think Dre sets me up on
Thanks, Jay. My dude, Jay.
I think Dre sets me up on these things, man.
No, he's a good sports guy. He knows his stuff. Living down in Tampa. My man, Jay. Shout out to Kendra, by the way.
But I look at it this way, too. I think NC State's quarterback is going to probably show up on the radar a little bit more because what he did at Coastal Carolina and now what he could do at NC State when he has a top-tier wide receiver and like Concepcion, I think he's going to stand out a little bit more. I think Malik Murphy could at for Duke. It depends on how Duke does in the season, stuff like that. That's a little bit of a long shot for me. But I like to see what Carson Beck's doing, the Arizona kid. DJ, he's not on my list, but I really want to see what he does at Florida State. Does the ACC curse comes back in when he had at Clemson, and then he broke the curse when he went to Oregon State. Now he's coming back into the ACC.
A curse?
Huh?
Can you really call it a curse? Really?
You could.
Is that a curse?
I mean, what he did 2 years he was at Clemson. He ain't played very good. He played that one game against Notre Dame, and everybody thought he was going to take off.
That was it. That one game solidified your name moving forward. And what have you done since then? I'm going to wait on this, sir. I'm going to wait. So I mean, good luck to your Carolina Panthers. I mean, your Tar Heels this year.
And
my
Panthers,
Florida football Gators.
Yeah, and Drake and Jay, we're going to say good luck to your Arizona State team. Yeah. So
no, Jay is a Notre Dame fan.
No, Jay is
he's a Golden Domer fan. Like real talk, he's a Notre Dame fan. That's his squad.
Jay's an Arizona State fan. He's got press credentials for Arizona State. The only person on the network has got press.
Name me 5 players on that team in the last 10 years. You can't.
Jay's got the press. He's got the press thing for Arizona State, so he's actually inside the stadium in the press box, getting all the lecture and stuff. So can't hate for him by that. So I mean, at least he did get press credentials.
So before we get out of here, what are you looking forward to today in college football? And we got this
today's college football game.
What are you looking forward to today?
I'm looking to go 6-0 today. So all my teams I pick, I want to win. I'm looking to go
4 games today.
No, there's 6 games today.
What's the other 2?
I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong spreadsheet.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm trying to go 4-0 today. I'm trying to go 4-0 all my teams pick. I'm looking at Florida State winning, beating Georgia Tech. I'm looking at New Mexico. I'm looking at SMU, and I'm looking at Hawaii. That's who I got.
I want to win this
You got
Georgia
the same
Tech
thing.
game.
Me and you got the same picks today. So
We got the same picks, but I want gambling on 2 games. Like I laid some cash. So I got 100 on the -11 on the Florida State Georgia Tech game, and I got the Hawaii game, the over. I got 100 on both of those.
you got 100 on both of those.
Yeah.
Where you playing at? What's the website do you go? What's the best gambling website that you recommend to go to?
DreMontez.com. Until they pay us, I'm not sharing that. No. For us to speak about a gambling site, they got to give us some money.
I'm just playing with
But I
you.
go to the ones everybody go to. They know the top 2
Online.
Yeah. And then I have
I'm
gonna do the parlay thing for the first time this football season online because I love parlays. I love crazy parlays.
Yeah, I really don't understand the parlay part. I don't understand the sports betting like everybody else does. I'm more of a commentator, doing the commentator, breaking down games and stuff like that. But when you come to sport betting, I know a little bit about point spread and stuff, but these parlays and all this stuff, I don't know too much about.
The information that you share, bro. I think you'll be very good at gambling because the way you break down the matchups and the information that you have, I think you don't have to go in there and bet $1,000 or lose your home or your wife and kids leave you. You can go play around for $10.
Yeah, I know.
See what happens.
I might try it this year. I might try the low $10 to $20 range.
We should get a fantasy football team. You and I should draft one together online live. Find us a league and let's draft the team together.
Oh, you talking about NFL?
Yeah, damn right.
NFL.
I would never do college football fantasy. That's too much. That's too much. Well, buddy, what a great show again that you put together.
Florida State's playing right now, so this has been a great time. First show of breaking down all the teams for the first week 0, and week 1. We'll be back next Saturday to break down week 1 Saturday and going into week 2 games on Thursdays and Fridays. This has been Dre and Ray on the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown Show on the All Sports All Plays Network. See you next
weekend.
Week.
Peace.
See you next weekend.
Tune in next week, people. Already. Go Florida.
No.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.